6 PM. I would like to call to order the regular city council meeting of July 16, 2026 at exactly 6 PM. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilman Werner.
Here.
Councilman Gleason.
Here.
Councilwoman Leonard. Vice Mayor Langowski.
Present.
Mayor O'Connor.
Present and accounted for.
We have a quorum.
If you're able, please stand and join me for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Be seated. Do we have any additions, deletions, or modifications to the agenda? If not, I need a motion to approve the agenda as presented, please.
Motion to approve the agenda as presented. Second.
We have a motion by Councilman Gleason, seconded by Councilman Werner. Roll call. Councilman Werner.
Yes.
Councilman Gleason.
Yes.
Councilwoman Leonard.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Langowski.
Yes.
Mayor O'Connor.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Excellent. Moving forward with public comment, this section of the agenda allows for comments from the public to speak. Each speaker will be given a total of 3 minutes. You may receive an answer, and you also may receive an answer from staff at a later time. When you come to the podium, I'll ask that you please state your name and address to keep the record clean. You will also have more opportunities for public comment throughout the meeting. Do we have any comment cards, Madam Clerk?
Yes, Mayor, you have a comment card from Mr. Bobby Farber.
Mr. Farber, step on up. You know the drill.
2829 same one. So thanks, let's start. Four Fest was really good.
One second, Mr. Farber. I think the mic is, no, it's not. Sorry, Mr. Farber. Give us a moment. We'll get you squared away.
We just want to hear the address.
If not, I'll give you my mic. How long of a cord do we have?
Hello.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, undo that little twisty tie there and give him my. Simple solutions to complicated problems. How about that?
All right, Bobby Farber, 4829 St. Armand's Way. Fourth Fest. We had a really good Fourth Fest. I'd recommend that the ceremony should take place a little bit later. I know that there were some congratulatory things that went on, but nobody was really there. It was kind of quiet, but I felt some were missing, and I'd like to put them out there right now. And I'd like to thank, from me, to acknowledge Hila Flores for the amazing job she did with everything from vendors, gift bags, placement, sponsorship, and entertainment. I'd also like to thank Sid, who I deal with, notably Scott Massey, President, Taylor and Aldo and crew for their planning and numerous days of setup and breakdown and cleanup. They did a phenomenal job. All right, so that. Next month, local planning agency. Once again, the council is still wearing 2 hats, one at 5:30, one a different hat at 6:30. All on the council hated it when Ken Castle wore 2 hats. All right, there was a conflict. It couldn't come quick enough for us to separate from him. And not to have a manager wearing 2 hats and a district manager and a city manager. So I'd ask Mr. Brown to please try and fix this. There's a little bit of hypocrisy and autocracy going on at its best here. And I believe that the Planning and Zoning Board should have resident input here. The Educational Advisory Board meets on numerous occasions. Art in Public Places meets when they are called to. Even West Palm Beach just had an advisory board for residents due to all the construction that's going on in the downtown area. It's time we get it started here. The residents need an input. Lastly, the Happy Program. This just doesn't sit well with me. I want to know, Mr. Mayor, if you monitor this program or you ever looked at any of these grants that are being awarded. And if so, I'd like to know how many of those applicants came from Crestwind. And the sales office there tells no one, me included, I would have been eligible. I never was told about it. I would like to have Taylor go to the sales office on a monthly basis, as well as if and when Giella Holmes gets here, to remind them about this program and that 55+ community is also eligible if she already isn't. I'd also like to know if I can get it, that how many actually came from Crestwind this month, this year, or from its inception? I'm still not pleased with the concept that we have to contribute and we're not eligible for this program. I'm even more annoyed that you could apply a second time and if you buy a house within 3 years. It's like going to a restaurant, buying a hamburger and being told you can't eat it. So I'd like Taylor to tell me who's on the board. I want to know where the funds would be invested. And I'd like to see the original declaration. It might be legal, it's not right, but it seems to be discriminatory.
There's, just for the record, there's a handful of misconceptions there. Things you stated that weren't accurate, but I will have Taylor follow up with you and spend as much time as you need to get all the clarification done. And she'll be able to get you that information. So, if we could make sure that Taylor reaches out to Mr. Farber and, maybe schedule a meeting.
Absolutely, Mr. Mayor.
Excellent.
Mayor, can you have also Taylor report back to the council on what those misconceptions are?
Sure, absolutely. Since Taylor's not here, maybe we get her a transcript of Mr. Farber's comments so she can address each one of the things that weren't 100% accurate.
Yes, ma'am.
Excellent. Thank you. Any other public comments? Thank you for your comment, Mr. Farber. I really appreciate it. Anything else, Madam Clerk?
No additional comment cards, Mayor.
Anybody who'd like to make a public comment that didn't fill out a card, you will get more opportunities. No, we're good. We can move forward. Excellent. Consent agenda. This section of the agenda consists of routine or administrative items that require final approval by the city council and may be approved in its entirety by a single motion. There will be no discussion of these items unless one of the council members requests one. At that time, the item will get pulled from the agenda and considered on a future agenda. If there's no discussion, I would like approval of the consent agenda.
Motion to approve the
Consent agenda.
Second. We have a motion by Vice Mayor Langowski, seconded by Councilwoman Leonard. Roll call, Councilman Gleason,
Yes.
Councilwoman Leonard,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Langowski,
Yes.
Mayor O'Connor,
Yes.
Councilman Werner.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Excellent. Moving forward, we have before us Miss Gina, is it Levesque? I always mess this up, or Levesque. Levesque. Please introduce yourself and state your name and address for the record. She is with the County Commission on Ethics. Welcome.
Most ethics missteps we see don't start with bad intent. They start with uncertainty. Good evening, and thank you for having me. My name is Gina Levesque, and I serve as your liaison to the Palm Beach County Commission on Ethics in my role as Intake and Compliance Manager. Today, I'd like to briefly focus on how ethics shows up in your daily responsibilities and how we can support you when questions arise. Before I do that, let me briefly explain who we are and what we do. The Commission on Ethics was established to promote integrity in public service, build public trust, and ensure that private interests do not interfere with public duties. We provide oversight for more than 12,000 employees, advisory board members, and certain vendors and lobbyists throughout Palm Beach County, including all 39 municipalities. Many of the matters we address involve well-intentioned employees and officials navigating complex situations involving relationships, outside employment, vendor interactions, or perceived conflicts of interest. And these are not always clear, and that's where we come in. Our role is not just enforcement, it's guidance. We are here as a resource to help you navigate those gray areas before they become problems. Whether it's a quick question or formal advisory opinion, reaching out ahead of time can make all the difference. Advisory opinions in particular provide guidance based on your specific circumstances, and when relied upon in good faith, they offer protection moving forward. If there's one takeaway I'd like to leave you with, it's this. If something causes you to pause, even briefly, that's the time to reach out. You don't need to be certain there's an issue. You don't need to know whether or not the code applies. If you're unsure, ask. You can find resources or contact us at palmbeachcountyethics.com or by calling 561-355-1915. Thank you again for your time and for your continued commitment to public service, because ethics isn't a moment, it's a mindset. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Ms. Levesque. Not so much a question, but just a fun point that I think that we do this every year, but I think the public would gain some insight from it. Explain how the city of Westlake opted in to the program, how because of when we were incorporated, we weren't actually bound by the county commission, but we voluntarily opted into this.
So when the city of Westlake became a city, they were not under the jurisdiction of the Commission on Ethics because we were a quasi judicial board. You had to elect or enter into an agreement with our office to come under our jurisdiction. And I came out here for several years and tried to get you guys to do it, but it just wasn't happening till about, I would say 4 or 5 years ago.
Oh, I got elected.
And then you all entered into a contract with our office to come under our jurisdiction. Unlike with the Inspector General's office, because they are not a quasi judicial board, you automatically became under their jurisdiction. So
Excellent.
that was very exciting for me personally, because I live out in this area, not in the city particular, but out in this area. And I've been the liaison with you guys since inception. So I appreciate the fact that you didn't have to make me work so hard anymore.
We certainly appreciate you, Ms. Levesque. Does anybody have any questions or comments from the board?
Nothing.
Just
I
want
can
to
throw
thank you
a-
so much, and I appreciate you being here, and I appreciate you coming out. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
I'm going to take a moment of mayoral privilege here and invite our first responders up, starting with our sheriff's department to give their staff report, just so they can get back on the road and get back to protecting us. They don't have to wait till the end of the meeting. I'll do fire next.
Take care.
Oh, I appreciate you.
All right, so we had a lot of crime in Westlake last month. Yeah, 277 calls for service, 2 construction burglaries, one vehicle burglary,
That is a lot of crime.
and
Thought you were joking.
we've
That's
had
a lot.
More construction stuff than in the past. Somebody's got some property taken from the locker room in Planet Fitness.
Wow.
And somebody's package was taken from their porch.
So I count 4 counts of theft?
Yes. Well, one's a burglary because they stole the key fob out of the locker room, entered the car in the parking lot, took his credit card, and then went
Wow.
charging it. I think we do have a suspect on that.
You were able to use the surveillance cameras and everything?
Yeah. I think he
Excellent.
tried to use it at Publix or something like that, and detectives are following.
Okay.
So-
You could keep an eye on that and follow up. I'm curious. I want to
Absolutely.
see the criminals brought to justice.
Were there any arrests?
No,
Not yet.
not as I'm aware of.
How many citations and how many warnings?
We got, let me see, I just had it all together. They had 108 traffic stops, 81 warnings and 27 citations, 13 vehicle crashes, 6 of those being in a parking lot.
In a parking lot.
So you got people who don't know how to back up in Publix, the Habit Burger, and Aldi's. Were the most of the parking lot accidents.
Is that, in terms of citations and warnings,
That doesn't.
is that a little bit on, I know, but is that on track with what you do monthly, basically? Or
mean,
is it
the
ticking
traffic-
higher or lower?
The crash is about the same. I think last month it was 10, if I'm not mistaken.
And what about speeding and all, like the whole picture?
Well, it's actually, believe it or not, it's slower. I mean, especially with school out of town. I mean, there's times where I'll drive around for hours and everybody's just tooling along. I don't know if they're scared of me to get pulled over, or they're actually paying attention to traffic laws and stuff like that. So,
And not to put you on the spot, but we love living in a safe city. I think everybody here really enjoys living in one of the safest cities. Is there anything that you need from us that you're not getting?
cooler days, because it's hot. as heck out there.
Anything within our control?
I don't think so. I think we're operating very well here.
Okay.
You know, we got your support, most
Of
of the
course.
citizen support, except if I read them a ticket. Then they don't like me.
Listen,
But
if you have to start writing tickets, write them. Safety is most
listen,
important.
I give you a warning the first time. Like I said, the second time, you don't take my kindness for weakness. Plain and simple. I'm still looking for you, Councilman.
Thank you. Do we have any questions for Mr. Heckler?
Yes.
Please.
Yeah,
you're recognized.
Deputy Heckler, thank you for making your presentation.
You're welcome.
For the people here tonight, can you just give us a rundown of how many officers we have during the day, during the evening, and throughout the week?
Two, you have two on both day shifts. You have one on each night shift and a relief guy on night shift. So he fluctuates between the two shifts.
Thank you.
And plus, because a lot of the restaurants and everything is here, so you can have a lot of the guys coming in from Loxahatchee and whatever to eat and, you know, socialize and stuff. So there's probably 5, 6 deputies in here at a time.
Yeah, with
Plus
backup,
all the residents that live in here too. So you have a whole lot of cops.
Cool.
Per capita, you probably have more first responders than anyone I've ever seen. It's incredible.
Very nice.
Any other questions for deputy?
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you.
I think Lieutenant wants to speak.
Please, LT.
Hello, I'm Brandon West, Lieutenant out here. Just wanted to talk about the July 4th event. It went off very, very well. We were not, me and the captain weren't a part of it last year. It's our first year of being involved. But I came to the event and super impressed with it. I mean, even, I don't think we had to throw nobody out, we had to arrest nobody. Like, it was very well done. I think Bert, our sergeant, did a really good job, the way they maintained it. But super impressed with all the people, all the patrons that came. So really good event. I think it was very well done. So appreciate everybody's help and all the people that showed up. So thank you very much.
Thank you, LT, and thank you guys for everything you do. Give it up. Let's give it up for our deputies. Chief?
Good evening.
Evening.
First of all, I want to apologize for being a few minutes late. When I looked how long it would take for me to get here at noon, that significantly changed by the time I actually left. So my name is Matt Ritter. I'm the District Chief of Aviation, or District Chief 81. So I'm assigned to the airport. I cover our firefighters and our trauma hawk unit.
Welcome to Westlake.
Thank you. So as you know, Chief Romero, her duties are very wide with her battalion. So she asked me to cover because she was actually at another meeting tonight.
Excellent.
Right. So first and foremost, fortunately, you called us a lot less than you had to use the sheriff's office, which is a good thing. And we only ran, and I'll go over the total numbers, but specifically car accidents, we only had 6 in the last month, which I appreciate PVSO only calling us when they need us. So a lot of those, obviously, there's no injuries, so you don't need fire rescue. So total, there was 67 calls to fire rescue over the last month. And our average response time of those was 6:08 in this battalion. Our required response time is about 7 minutes and 30 seconds. And the average for the county is 6 minutes and 48 seconds.
Okay,
So in this area, they're doing well above the average.
excellent.
And if you look at this sheet, did Chief Romero send you guys this sheet? You have it? Okay, so the dispatch handling time is the first number on there. It says 43 seconds. That's on average how long it's taking the dispatcher, once they get the call, to get a unit in route. All right, and then the turnout time is once the alarms go off in the station, how long it takes those guys to get in their truck and actually leave. From there, travel time is self-explanatory. That's from when they leave the station to when they get to the call. And then the last number there, which I just talked about, the 6:08, is the total time from when we receive it to when they actually get to the call.
Excellent.
Right, and then breaking it down a little bit, not unusual, 36 calls were medical, which is over 53% of the calls. As a department, that's just what we do in Palm Beach County. A very high percentage of our calls are typically medical calls. You had 18 fire alarms. As I'm sure you know, those are calls where there's an alarm. We get there, there's no actual fire incident. They could be false alarms for any number of reasons. I talked about vehicle accidents, and you had assists and investigations 3, actual fires 3, and then 1 inter-facility transport, which is where we take somebody from one hospital to another.
Right. Maybe Westlake ER to
It's typically for somebody that, because the general public doesn't understand, they just go to the closest hospital, right? But if you need something special,
Right.
a particular specialty, then they'll call us to get them from one hospital to another.
Excellent.
So-
Does anybody have any questions for the chief?
Thank you, chief.
Just a couple of things. So I've said this before, municipalities and counties don't necessarily always play well in the sandbox together. And between our partnership with PBSO, and it truly is a partnership with Palm Beach County Fire. I mean, you have our logo on your trucks, like you have our city seal on your
Yes, sir.
trucks. It truly feels that way. It is a partnership, and we're just so grateful to have Station 22 right here in Westlake, and that's the way it feels.
I appreciate it. It's a beautiful fire station.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, and you guys are great. I stop by with the kids often. While I have you here, just because you're the guy, why don't you tell us a little bit of the apparatus you have at the airport? That's special firefighting airport stuff.
That's gonna take.
Well, I had a reason, I participated in Fire Ops 101, and apparently
Okay.
jet fuel burns at this insane temperature, and they have special equipment there at the airport to put out these fires. It's really incredible.
Right. So I will take just,
2 seconds, yeah.
well, if you don't mind, I'd like to take a
Please.
minute
No,
to
no,
kind of
please,
brag
please,
about
please.
something.
Yeah, yeah.
else. We do have some special that for right now is only at the airport, but it's going to be out in the rest of the county. So first of all, we
I
have
love
our-
this stuff, so please.
So first of all, you saw the large dragon, right? The-
Yeah.
The massive fire truck, 3,000 gallons of water on it. Those are specifically for the aircraft.
Oh, can we kill that alarm? Oh, it's not. Oh. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
They have foam, purple K, dry chem, anything we would need to put out whatever we need to with an airplane. All right, they even have a large boom on the top that has a special thing that we can penetrate through the outside of the aircraft and then actually put water on the inside of the aircraft to, put any fire out inside.
Amazing.
The guys are obviously taught exactly where to do that because there could still be passengers on the plane. So, and we have 5 of those at any one time. There are 2 of them in service. So we're well above what we're required to have. Right. And then the other thing I was talking about is there's a large problem in the county with the electric vehicles. And when they do catch on fire, if the battery is involved, they're almost impossible to put out. Well, through a lot of research, we found a unit and it's called a cold cut Cobra, excuse me. We call it Cobra 81, so I had to think of the actual name. It's called a cold cut Cobra. And what this device does, it's like a large, very powerful pressure cleaner. And it actually, using water, pierces into the battery of an electric vehicle and will extinguish the fire. So to give you some comparison, before we had this, it took 80,000 gallons of water to put out the last electric vehicle fire that we had. And all of that's contaminated, pollution,
My.
EPA, all that kind of thing. With this vehicle, the total was about 1,000 gallons.
Wow.
And it was completely extinguished. And it was such a success that the fire rescue has now ordered 3 more of these units that are en route and will be dispersed throughout the county.
The innovation is incredible.
So,
How many of those fires are you seeing?
so I don't know the exact numbers. What I can tell you is it's kind of weird, right? Like the percentage of electric vehicles that catch on fire compared to the percentage of gas vehicles that do is ridiculously low. It's actually very, very low. But the more and more electric vehicles they have, the more it's happening. And like I said, once they catch fire, the only way to put them out is to actually put water inside the battery compartment. And of all the products I've seen out there, this is the only thing that works.
Cold cut Cobra.
Mhm.
Very
So,
cool.
So
Well-
we're sorry,
No, please.
DJT. to get
Yeah,
used to saying
not
that,
PBI.
is the only airport in the United States that has this vehicle.
Amazing.
There's a couple of fire departments that have it, but they're not widespread. So us deploying 3 of them additionally to that one is a pretty big deal.
Well, Chief, I want to thank you again for everything you do for us. I also want to thank you for bringing out the huge loader truck for 4th of July and the big, massive American flag that we had for Fourth Fest. It was definitely a sight to be seen. So
I just spoke to Chief Romero before I got here and she said that was one of the things she mentioned, that they
Yeah.
were very happy to be there, take part in that event.
on behalf of the city, thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Okay. Excellent. Yes, sir.
Can you, the city manager, just explain to the audience why we're meeting tonight? Because it's not a regular night.
Sure.
Well, this was scheduled, this is our regular city council meeting. It was changed because of conflicts with schedules of the city council. And so we normally have our meetings on the first Tuesday of each month, and we've rescheduled it to tonight, Thursday, July
Excellent.
15th.
I'm going to invite our lobbyist for the legislative update, Mr. Rasmussen. What do you got for us? You were very successful this year.
Thank you. Thank you. It's great to
Appreciate
be
you
here with
coming
guys.
down from Tallahassee.
Absolutely. Do you all have the PowerPoint or do they have it?
Yes, I have it.
Okay, perfect. And you can just go to the second slide. And you just want me to tell you?
I have it ready for you.
Okay. Let's see how you.
I think it goes this way. Move it. There. Like this. This one is how you move forward.
Okay, so.
Mhm.
just point it.
Mhm.
All right, well, I'm Carl Rasmussen with Metz Husband Dalton in Tallahassee, and we are your lobbyists. So it's great to be here with you guys today.
It's great to see you again.
We have represented the city of Westlake for 2 sessions now, so just completed one after many special sessions, as you'll see here on the slide, but kind of the state of affairs in Tallahassee is, I think everybody likely knows this, right? We have a Republican governor, we have a supermajority in the Senate and a supermajority in the House currently, and I think most people think, well, that leads to pretty smooth and gentle waters, but of course, everybody has their own idea of how things should be run. And so we had a little bit of a more contentious session this year, which meant we had a lot of special sessions and didn't pass as many bills. But as we kind of go through, I'll touch on all these topics. So by the numbers, 1,900 bills were filed this year, 237 of those bills passed. Typically, on average, we have over 300 bills in a regular session. So although personally, I don't wake up and think we need 300 new laws every year, unless they're important to my clients. In this case, this was well below normal. So 8 of those bills got vetoed, and we'll get to one of those, but various different reasons for that. So key bills impacting local governments. The first being HB 145, claims against the government. I won't go into too much detail on all these, but I'll highlight a few. So that would have raised the threshold for immunity for local governments and what would they be liable for. And ultimately, the governor vetoed that because he felt like that might lead to more lawsuits. And so he never really wanted that threshold bumped up anyways, but it went higher than what his team agreed to. And so ultimately that led to him deciding to veto it. So
That was the sovereign immunity cap.
yeah,
right?
I'm sorry, recap. Yep. The next one I'll highlight is data centers. I think everybody sees data centers on the news every day. The governor has been very adamant about his lack of interest in data centers coming to Florida for various reasons, but mostly based on the cost it could have to individual ratepayers, right? He doesn't want ratepayers to pay for data centers. So the bill that passed, Senator Avila and Representative Griffiths, that says that anyone who builds a data center in the state of Florida is responsible for the costs. So they have to pay for all the costs, and then they put a consumptive use permit structure around it to make sure that there's enough water. And so ultimately we don't end up, as we've seen in some of these areas where maybe there's so much water being used that puts a strain on other needs. So
May I interrupt for 2 seconds? Sorry. 'cause
you can interrupt all you guys want.
My ADD brain, if I don't ask this now.
Yeah.
What if a project had already began?
Mhm.
Is it bound by these new laws instantly? When does this go into effect?
No, if it
or-
had already begun, then they would have been, it was not retroactive.
Okay.
That being said, a number of local governments around the state had moratoriums, and so it was kind of waiting for this to come into effect.
Now, what if a project had been approved, but ground had not been broken yet on the project? How does that?
I would have to look
Okay,
a little
just
bit more
curious.
into that and get back to you.
Very good.
For a
Thank you.
project that falls under the jurisdiction of that legislation, what's the remedy? In other words, we know what the standard requirement is to going in.
Right.
But let's say they violate it, or even with the best estimates, they went way beyond.
So I think that'll still be worked out, but ultimately it would, essentially the onus is going to fall on the utility, right? So the utility is the one who's committing to the data center, then the data center is committing to pay for everything. But just like anything else, there would be fines and those sorts of violations and penalties.
Excellent. Thank you.
On the other ones, I can go through as detailed as you want, but, for instance, ahead of myself. The land use and development 399, that requires application fees to be tied to the associated costs with that application. So, they had heard a lot of complaints that, certain governments were charging way more than what they're actually getting out of the benefit. And so that's meant to cap that. For 803, for example, that's a push. We've seen this for a couple of years in a row of feeling like local governments are slow to issue permits. And so they've been moving, the legislature has been moving to provide private permitting opportunities for individuals that are construction related or developers to say, hey, if you have one of these approved private permitters, then you can go through that instead of having to wait for a city inspector. On the bottom rung, they're kind of interesting. I'll highlight a few of these. So 1134 is all about DEI, and it says that a local government can't have a DEI program that is funded by taxpayer dollars, essentially. 1217 came out of a prohibition against gas-powered leaf blowers. And it says that it grandfathered in any existing, but Naples, for instance, has an ordinance that says you can only have electric blowers. And so some people there got mad, and so they ran a bill. So we get to see all sorts of fun things in Tallahassee, but there's just a kind of smattering of them. Any questions on any of these that you want me to cover before I move on?
No, I'm okay.
Okay. So some of these are bills and some of these were amendments, but the two on the left were bills. But so I'll start with Blue Ribbon projects because that was a major issue in Tallahassee this year. So someone came up with the idea that if you own 15,000 contiguous acres and you decided to put 60% of that into conservation, then you could have a community that no longer, the comp plan and zoning that exists in a municipality can no longer apply.
Wow.
The state decided that went pretty far forward. Obviously, some big developers were behind it. But ultimately, it was too much for people to say, hey, there's just a lot of risk involved. And the locals have already decided why these zonings and comp plan issues are there. And so we're not going to just step aside. And let that go.
Talk about eroding home rule.
And so interestingly, you see on that, right, urban development boundary, that's over in Miami-Dade County, rural boundary elimination. What we've seen in Tallahassee as far as local government issues are concerned is, you have a lot of big developers who are just looking to see how they can kind of get around the existing rules and regulations that are in place. And so ultimately, not a lot of that passed. Kind of the bottom line. All right, so I know everybody here knows about the property tax issue. So the governor about a year ago said we should be eliminating property taxes. He made that a priority of his all through session. Speaker of the House didn't really agree to a certain extent, and the Senate president, this was one where the governor and the Senate president weren't exactly aligned either. Obviously, I think we all know the impacts if you remove property taxes as a whole to local governments. And so they decided in special session F, June 1st through the 3rd, that they would do this tiered approach for how it'll be brought in, right? And so ultimately, this will be on the ballot in November, as you all know. And over the last week to 2 weeks, we've really seen a lot of numbers roll out for how it impacts so many local governments around the state. And in response to a lot of that, the governor has said, whoa, this isn't my measure. Now, mind you, his measure was much more aggressive and would eliminate property taxes as a whole. But he says, hey, this isn't mine. I didn't vote on it. The legislature passed this and put this on the ballot. It wasn't me. So he is not going to, as we saw with the amendments on the last ballot, he is not going to be putting his weight behind this one, is basically what he said. He said, hey, if it passes, okay, but if it doesn't, it's not my baby. So interestingly in that, I put a couple little headlines over here to say, Byron Donalds vows to revive property tax cuts as governor if November amendment fails. So in the event it does fail, I think they've found that there's a lot of constituency that's interested in this issue. So just because it may or may not pass in November, it doesn't mean it's going to go away either way. But I brought up the governor's support to say, this will require 60% of voters to support it. That's a big measure. I mean, it's really it's really hard to pass an amendment. And so I think if no one's behind it, if I was going to prognosticate, I think there's gonna be a lot more people talking, saying it's a bad idea, and I don't know if it'll pass.
There's some legal challenges in terms of the language of the bill as well, correct?
There,
You think it'll
Yes.
end up on the ballot in the exact same language that it is right now?
I don't know if it ends up exactly the same. I think it ends up on the ballot either way.
It'll end up on the ballot, but that
Yes.
language?
I don't know if it'll be that language or not. I think it's a little too early to tell. But yes, you're 100%
Do you
correct.
see any polling on that proposition?
So originally, just straight out the gate, it was in position to pass, but that was before education. And when I say in position to pass, it was about 61,
Right there.
62%. So once everybody's educated on how it affects their community, that makes it really hard to get 60%.
It may be this, it may be something else, but I was having trouble understanding it. What's the caveat in terms of the rollback rate? There's something in there about,
So you mean the tiered structure? So
Yeah,
it starts at 150,000 for the
no,
first
that I
year.
understand, but there was something specifically limiting local governments in terms of the percentage of the rollback rate that they're allowed to set their, no, it's buried in there somewhere. Okay.
I'll have to get back to you.
I'll educate myself more as well.
All right, so I kind of did this a little bit in reverse because of one actually went to the ballot first versus the actions of the governor. So legislature finally passed their budget on May 29th. Now, remember, we adjourned from session on March 13th. So going back to that contentious feeling, it took that long for everybody to come to agreement on where we're going to land. Governor ultimately signed the budget on June 9th. This was his final budget. He maintained the same priorities he's kind of been going on for the entirety of his 8 years. A lot of environmental focus, a lot of DOT focus, $117 billion with $810 million in line item vetoes. Fortunately, we were fully funded and not vetoed, which it was a tough day for us last year when our project got vetoed. I was very surprised, to say the least. But anyhow, we were able to re-educate the governor's staff and get them to a place where they felt comfortable with the project and a little bit more knowledgeable about the city. And so thank you all that participated in that,
Of course.
making that all happen. And so ultimately the kind of what's next on these, right, is that the Department of Transportation for the Go West project and DEP for the park project will contact the city, and then we'll start to get those funds in and begin to go on the project. 2027 is blank. We start in March of next year.
Yep.
And so I'll be working with the team here to
Phase two.
think about what y'all priorities are and where we go from here. Now, we might be a little more aggressive on a couple things next year from a number of appropriations we request. And part of that reasoning is because, typically there's the FERDAP program, which funds parks. That was not funded in the budget this year.
Mm-hmm.
And so, we can certainly pursue some grant opportunities for DOT grants or stormwater grants or those sorts of things. But I know from a park perspective and other things like that, those are some limited grants because they just weren't funded by the legislature. So we'll have to consider what other additional individual items we look at. In the meantime, I'll work with your team to see if there's any stormwater or DOT related grants we can apply for and look at.
Amazing.
Just a quick kind of summary I'll go through quickly on. I think everybody knows who most of these folks are, but Governor and Jay Collins will be termed out here at the end of the year. Attorney General Uthmeyer and CFO Ingoglia, those were appointed positions by Ron DeSantis. So they'll be on the ballot for the first time, but they are incumbents. And then Commissioner Simpson will be running for his second term as Ag Commissioner. They've all been around politics for a long time. They know what they're doing. And Attorney General Uthmeyer, he was the former chief of staff for Ron DeSantis in his first 4 years. So depending on how you like DeSantis, then you can decide if you want to vote for James Uthmeyer. Just real quick again. So Florida, I'll kind of skip to the bottom here. So 21 of the 40 seats in the Senate because people move on to other things. So typically it's 20 of the 40 would be on the ballot. But 21 now, notably Senator Harrell, who is our senator, she is not on the ballot. She terms out in 2 years. And obviously Representative Weinberger, because all House members are on the ballot. I don't know if you want me to go through the dynamics. I could certainly talk about, it is very lopsided from a fundraising perspective. I would be surprised though if the legislature maintains the size of their supermajority at the end of this election.
Wow.
The state has had a lot of numbers and a lot of growth, but we saw some special elections, specifically in Jay Collins' seat after he got appointed, and Josie Tomko, who was a House member who ran for that seat, didn't end up winning that. And a couple other, obviously there was the race over at Mar-a-Lago. And so I think those are signs of, I think both chambers continued to maintain. I just think they probably lose a couple of seats, and that's just kind of how this thing, comes about. So as far as what's next in the legislative leadership, you see your leaders for the past 2 years there on the top left. I'll just go ahead and skip to the right. So Senate President will be Jim Boyd. He's from the Bradenton area. Next to him is Speaker of the House, Sam Garrison. He's in Clay County. Sam Garrison is a local government guy. He is an attorney who represents local governments. So I think that the next 2 years will have some opportunities from a local government perspective as y'all think about what your priorities are, what's important to you. I think he's kind of the right ear to be listening. I'll go after him to the bottom left there. You'll have Senator Jay Trumbull be the next Senate President from Panama City, and Speaker of the House will be Jennifer Kennedy. She is from Lakeland. And then after that, in 2031 and 2032, because we like to make sure we select our leaders well in advance, in Tallahassee, you'll have Senate President Tom Leek from Daytona and Speaker of the House Mike Redondo from Miami.
Now, just for the purpose of the public, they have to win.
They have to continue winning their
They have
seats.
to continue to win
Absolutely.
their
And that-
elections
and
in
that
order
has
to become
happened.
the speaker.
And that has happened in the past. But yes, they have to continue to win. Key dates. So we're in a new fiscal year. I think everybody knows the primary and general election dates. So new members will be sworn in to the legislature on November 17th. We'll start committee weeks in December. So I'll be, like I said, working with your team, and we'll be in touch with our senators and representatives. But ultimately the appropriations filing deadline is going to be that March 2nd date. But we will want to socialize everything well in advance of that with Senator Harrell and Representative Weinberger. And that's what I got. Any questions?
Only because I was at the bill signing and it was around the corner from here. Tell us about the new law of
I hope I know.
animal abuse
Oh.
and strengthening.
I got to be honest. I don't know the details.
Let's
Of
get,
that law.
I know it more or less. So a new law was.
It was at Big Dog Rescue.
Yeah, it was at Big Dog
I know
Ranch
that.
Rescue right around the corner from us. I was at the bill signing. There's new laws that not only strengthen the punishments for animal abusers, it creates a registry, just like a sex offenders registry, where anybody who gets caught abusing an animal goes on a offenders list. They have, their public information, just like the sex offenders list, and the punishments are much greater. And the governor came down for that, and it was literally right around the corner from us at Big Dog.
I drove by on the way here.
So, yeah,
And that's a really important issue to Representative Weinberger, as probably everybody here
absolutely.
knows.
We gotta protect our animals. Who's got a question for Carl?
Remember, there's 237 bills, so when you
I
pick one
know.
out, I unfortunately don't read them all.
It was here. Amazing presentation. Thank you.
Thanks.
That was incredible.
Appreciate it.
I don't think we've had one of those in the 6 years I've been in office, so that was great. Any questions for our wonderful lobbyist who more than paid for himself this year?
So the FERDAPs are not funded this year. That was new to me. Okay.
So not funded in what will be, yes, this fiscal year. So they had the program last year. So there might be remaining dollars,
Okay.
but there won't be new dollars.
Because we did apply for that.
Right.
The Sid did.
Sid did. And if y'all would get me that information on what they applied for, that would be
Okay.
great, because I can certainly help with what they're asking for at the
Do
same
you
time.
think it will be funded next year potentially?
I would guess it would be.
Okay.
And it's one of those things where, there were a number of fights, a number of bills that passed only the House or only the Senate. But ultimately, when the Senate president, the governor rolled out his budget, the Senate president rolled out his budget, and the Speaker of the House rolled out his budget. And I think it was $4 billion different between the Senate president's budget and the Speaker's budget. And so where it really came to cutting and figure out where those those dollars were going to land. It was programs like that. And so what they did was they funded about 10 individual park programs. It was 8 to 10, and ours was one of those programs. But you know, that program obviously covered a lot more areas than that. So I was glad we got funded, and you know,
Yeah.
again, we can look at phase 2 for next session. But ultimately, that's why I said we need to look at some other grant opportunities that might benefit the city.
City manager, can you ask Sid to update us on the FERDAP status and then also copy Carl?
I sure will, Mr. Mayor, and we will also have a special joint meeting with the SID, and that's
Right.
one of the items we're going to discuss with them.
You know,
And I'll make sure I'll
Between
circle
now and
back.
then, maybe we can get that task in and
Oh, absolutely.
they could just give us an update.
Yeah.
Do you have a question?
Yeah, I'm just curious, how soon would you want us to be able to ask you to pursue various items for next year's session?
So for next, well, I'd say the priority would be any potential grant opportunities that you guys would be interested in. So like I said, and I can, if you'd like, I can send a follow-up with kind of what those grant pots look like.
Please.
But you know, anything in the stormwater or road posture, we would want to do that sooner than later, right? Because those grant portals will open up in a couple of months. But from a legislative perspective, probably best for me to know no later than November. So I can start to discuss those with our sponsors.
So we have a potential capital project coming up, which is the building of our very first and new city hall
Mhm.
on land that we now own that we've never owned before. And it was my understanding that there may be, you know, call part of it an emergency operations center. There may be some creative ways to gain funding. So maybe just keep that in mind that we've got to build a building.
Absolutely. And I would say that not even just gaming the system, not that we're saying it that way, but like the state would want you to build it as a DOC.
Okay,
They want it
yeah,
to
of
be a
course.
shelter.
That's right.
You know, so if you notice, like all new schools that are built are all built to, you know, a certain level of sheltering.
Right.
So,
But
you know,
not even that. I don't know, and maybe the deputy would know, but is there a satellite emergency operations center on the west side of the county? Not that, so
That
that
would
may
definitely be a value.
be of value when we start
Yeah.
looking at
it's a
that.
great idea.
That, you know, we could dedicate a piece of it as like a museum, you know, Westlake's history and the Western region's history, wherever we can grab money from, I want to grab it.
Yeah, any opportunity to provide a public safety component to it is always a real positive in Tallahassee.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Great. Any other questions?
Thank you. And if y'all, you know, I can, Howard has my contact information. If y'all ever need to reach out, feel free. You guys know where to find me. So thank you.
Thank you
Pleasure
so
to
much
be
for
here.
making the trek down. Thanks, Ed. I'll see you in Tallahassee soon. All right, that was amazing. Thank you again.
Mayor, may I say something really quick?
Please.
Well, first of all, I met Carl via telephone, and I called him and was trying to get an update. He said he needed information like right then because he was on his way across the street or something like that. And so we beat feet to make it happen. And thanks to everybody around the table, including the city clerk's office. I don't think we would have gotten it if we would have gotten your response by noon or something like that, right?
Yeah.
So this was last minute. So thank you very much
No,
because
Carl-
sometimes we don't.
Carl's been incredible.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you again. Okay, what a great update. Moving forward, we have the second reading of ordinance 2025-08 EAR based comprehensive plan update. City Attorney, please read by title only.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good evening, Mayor Commission. For the record, ordinance 2025-08 is an ordinance of the City Council, of the City of Westlake, Florida, adopting an EAR-based amendment to the City of Westlake Comprehensive Plan pursuant to section 163.384 of the Florida statutes. Adopting the amendments contained in Exhibit A, authorizing the appropriate city officials to transmit the adopted comprehensive plan amendment to the Florida Department of Commerce and all other required governmental agencies or entities as required by law, providing for severability, codification, and providing for an effective date. You have a presentation, Mayor, at the appropriate time. It's also a public hearing.
Thank you, Counselor. I believe we have a presentation from staff. Do we need to swear in any testimony?
This is not quasi.
Okay. Please.
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Mayor, Vice Mayor, Council Member. I am Nilsa Zacharias, Director of Planning of Chenmore. First of all, please, I want to congratulate you 10 years anniversary of this amazing, amazing city. So congratulations. 10 years. Osniel and I are thrilled to be here because we are adopting our comprehensive plan update. The first one was adopted in 2018. So the document, this is the updated document. We went through every element. We updated all the data at the time, obviously in 2018. There wasn't too much there, but now it's amazing all the growth that the city is experiencing. So the document fully reflects the amazing development that this city has happened. We have a presentation and Osniel will go through. Thank you.
Excellent.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor, City Council members.
Mr. Leon.
For the record, Osniel Leon, City Planner for the City of Westlake. So this is your comprehensive plan update, second reading and adoption. Just some background on March 5th. The city issued a appraisal notification acknowledgement letter to the state stating that the city will be taking on this update. On April 1st, there was an information, 2025, there was an information presentation to City Council. August 5th, we presented the first workshop to council for a few elements. On September 2nd was the second workshop. And October 7th, we did a third option for the rest of the elements. On December 2nd, 2025, the local planning agency and the City Council approved the transmittal hearing, first reading. On December 11, 2025, staff transmitted to Florida Commerce and all the other agencies. On February 9, 2026, the Florida Commerce issued the objections, recommendations, and comments report. And on July 16th, today, this is where we're at, and this is the second reading adoption of this comp plan. Again, this is ordinance 2025-08, which will be adopting your 2025 comprehensive plan update. These are the list of the chapters or elements included in your comprehensive plan. You have seen this before in the first reading, but just to reiterate, these are some of the plan visions in the 2020 and the 2050. This is to protect residential neighborhoods, provide diversity of housing, promote vibrant mixed use in district, support employment hubs, and embrace parks and open spaces. And what has been updated since the first reading? Based on the Florida Commerce comments, we have extended the planning horizons. Now the short term is 2040 and the long term is 2050. And based on that, we updated the data analysis, we updated the GOFs. And also including in that update, the population numbers, the housing, employment, infrastructure, and the level of service data, all of that was updated. Also the maps revisions according to that, and also the demographics and population projections.
Were all cities required to move the horizon years to 40 and 50?
Yeah, that's a requirement, the 10 and 20 years. It would have fell in a weird number, so we started to 2050 to be more precise. Again, these are the housing projections for 2050 numbers and also the city population projections tables that were updated. Some of the next steps today is the adoption of the second reading. After tonight, the council approves the ordinance, it will be transmitted again to the Florida Commerce and the other agencies. And then the comprehensive plan update will become effective, assuming there is no challenge pursuant to the section 163. Thank you, and I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Does anybody have any questions for Mr. Leon?
Yes. Can you go back to the previous slide where you were showing the projected housing units?
Mhm.
So is that 8,100 units, is that projected within the boundaries of our current
Correct.
city?
Yes.
And if there's annexations, you'd have to amend the plan otherwise.
Yeah, if the land increases, yeah, there's more land, more housing units can be accommodated.
Do we have enough vacant land within the boundaries to accommodate that.
Yes, this was calculated, in coordination with developers and projects that will be forthcoming. Also, the highest density allowed based on the comprehensive plan map, future land use, and also zoning districts. So we grabbed that and we projected the highest density that will be allowed.
So what was your calculation per unit to arrive at the 20,000 population?
We do
It's
a
like
PPH.
2.3 or something, right?
There's a calculation, PPH is population per household. It's 2.7, so that just gets
2.7.
calculated per dwelling unit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I still have trouble understanding how you use 2.7. I mean, no, obviously 0.7 is not a human that doesn't exist.
It was
I
actually,
know-
it was.
I know that we're at 3,800 homes and some change.
Yeah, that number actually is consistent with the county. That's the number the county uses
Okay.
to also project their population. So we're just being consistent with the county.
As
It
long as we're
actually
not,
changed.
as long as we're not using that
Yeah.
because we're using it.
No,
Because I
no,
know
no.
it's not accurate.
Yeah.
You know? Okay. Any other questions for Mr. Leon?
So are there any financial impacts on the city now that we're doing budget for the upcoming year as this plan is implemented or finalized?
Financial in what way?
In terms of just budgeting, are there gonna be any things that the city needs to plan for? Infrastructure, we know roads and things, but are there any additional, with the changes, with
Yeah.
all the
So-
redlining that went on, are there any
Yeah, correct.
surprises or additional budget?
Great
things?
question. So the comp plan, has the capital improvement project element, which lists all the projects that the city envisions to pursue or in the future take on. So based on the financial of the city to take on those projects or any money that we'll be receiving, that's the only financial aspect, I think. Yeah, this was fully coordinated with the capital improvement and
Seminole Improvement District.
Seminole Improvement District.
Now, this exhaustive comp plan amendment gets done how often again?
7 years, you're supposed to.
Every 7 years?
Yeah, you're supposed to look.
I'm
at-
sure there was quite a bit of an expense that the city had to undertake in order to come up with this plan. Has that been billed out of last year's budget, or is that something that we are billed in arrears?
We paid already.
Yeah,
It's paid.
It's paid.
Okay, so it's not something that we have to budget for
No.
coming forward. Okay, good. And we don't have to worry about it again for another 7 years.
7 years.
I like that.
Yes, me too.
Any other questions?
I just wanted to clarify to the question, how often do we do this? As you all know, you can amend your comprehensive plan anytime. If many times developers will require to amend the policy, this comprehensive plan can be amended anytime. However, Florida statute says that every 7 years, the local governments, counties, municipality needs to open it, test it, and see, okay, do we need to update this, yes or not? Before 2011, it was a mandate that has to be updated. After 2011, the local governments make a determination, and there is a letter of determination that yes, we need to update it or not. In the case of Westlake, last year, there was a determination that yes, we were needing to update because the 10 years and 20 years requirement. So that's the reason. But if you ask me, Nilsa, do we need to update this in 7 years? The answer is we need to see. It's not a for sure thing anymore. It's not a mandate anymore, but it's the opportunity to open and see if we need or not. And then we write a letter to the state saying, no, we don't need it, or yes, we do need it. So.
Excellent.
And on top of that, in some of the issues that we're encountering, within 365 days of the adoption of this comprehensive plan, we're required to update our land development regulations so that that's the legal mechanism that the staff will use to interpret these projects. And so that's what I'm here for.
Yes, there will be some zoning updates, zoning code updates So we're gonna need to see all of this. Let's go through the process. We're gonna be looking for the letter from the state, the notice of intent, the compliance, and then we can see our zoning code.
What about
Thank
the
you.
ULDC?
And that's what I mean, the
Yeah,
ULDC.
okay.
Once we receive the letter from the state that everything is fine and is in compliance with everything, then we can look at the ULDC to make sure that they are in sync between
Excellent.
this plan and our ULDC.
Well, wonderful. Thank you for all your hard work that you put into this. Completely random question that has nothing to do with this. The solar field land. Do we know what that's zoned for? I know it's privately held by NextEra.
That's a good question. I think it's right here.
Maybe ask this guy right here.
It's actually solar, there is an overlay. So it's R1, residential one, but then if you look at the map, has an overlay, you see this,
City imposed overlay.
that is solar energy overlay.
Interesting.
That's
Okay.
the future land use.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for all your hard work and time. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, that was our presentation. Let's open up for public hearing. Madam Clerk, do we have any public comment cards on this item?
I do not have any public comment cards, Mayor.
Is there anybody from the public who'd like to comment on this before I close the public hearing? Ms. Torres?
Hi, Alicia Torres, 5847 Whippoorwill Circle. I don't really fully understand what the comprehensive plan and the LDR and all of that, but I just wonder if data centers, if there's an opportunity at all to kind of put a moratorium on data centers.
Staff's working on it, and I think it's coming before us.
I think when I spoke with staff, it's maybe August 4th.
The August meeting. It's being worked on. Thank you. If there's no other comments, I will close the public hearing and open up for council discussion. Mr. Werner?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. I'd just like to request the city manager, if he would report to us at our next meeting, if it's available, what the cost was that we incurred on this comprehensive plan update.
Unless you know it now.
Well,
I've seen it. I just can't remember. It's 100,000 something, but I'll email you if that's okay. I'll email
Thank you.
council.
Excellent. Any other comments?
No, sir.
Okay. If there's no further discussion, I need a motion.
I'll move approval of the proposed adoption of the comprehensive plan as recommended by staff.
A second.
We have a motion by Councilman Werner, seconded by Councilwoman Leonard. Roll call, Councilwoman Leonard.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Langowski.
Yes.
Mayor O'Connor.
Yes.
Councilman Werner.
Yes.
Councilman Gleason.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
We have before us the third reading of ordinance 2025-09, readoption of 2025 10-year water supply facilities work plan. City Attorney, please read by title only.
Thank you, Mayor. For the record, ordinance 2025-09 is an ordinance of the City Council, City of Westlake, Florida, readopting the city's 2025 10-year water supply facilities work plan and associated comprehensive plan amendment as required by section 163-3177 of the Florida statutes. Providing for the adoption of amendments to the city's comprehensive plan to implement the 2025 10-year water supply facilities work plan. Providing for the adoption of updated policies within the comprehensive plan. Infrastructure element, providing for transmittal to Florida Commerce, the State Land Planning Agency, providing for the repeal of laws in conflict, providing for severability, codification, and providing for an effective date. Again, Mayor Commission, this is a public hearing.
Thank you, Counselor. We have a presentation.
Thank you, Mayor. For the record, Neil Leon, City Planner for the City of Westlake. So this is merely statutory requirement. We coordinated Florida statute with the Florida Commerce to readopt this, and it will be also transmitted along with the comp plan. You have seen this before. There has been no changes. This is merely statutory requirement.
Question I would have is, did I read it right? It's a third reading?
Correct.
Why is it 3 readings?
Again,
That's out of
this-
the norm,
it was coordinated with Florida statutes to readopt because of dates. The comprehensive plan kind of took a little bit to get that
Okay,
finish
now I
line.
see.
So we're going to be transmitting everything together. So we coordinated with Florida Commerce. The set was fine, just needed a new date, and that's what we're here.
So there won't be a 4th reading.
No.
Let's go ahead and open this item up for public comment. Madam Clerk,
There are no public comment cards, Mayor.
any public comments on this item, our 10-year water plan? Before I close the public hearing, closed. Let's open up for council discussion. Mr. Werner?
Oh, thank you, Mayor. The water supply, the water infrastructure is actually owned, operated, and maintained by SID. And yet this is our plan, but I presume it was coordinated with Seminole Improvement District. And that's my only comment.
Yeah, it's required.
I believe
It's
legislatively.
required,
it has to be a
Councilman.
city plan.
There are
But
many,
does SID also have to adopt it?
no, we're required to adopt the comprehensive
We
plan
are.
amendments, yes. And it's not uncommon in cities to have investor-owned utility that you'd work with to get those numbers to support that when you're trying to get all of it established. So we simply couldn't do it without them.
Thank you.
Any other comments from the council?
I mean, they're not investor-owned utility.
Being
that's-
none. May I have a motion?
I'll move approval of ordinance 2025-09, approving the 10-year water supply facilities work plan and associated comprehensive plan.
I'll second.
Motion by Councilman Werner, seconded by Councilman Gleason. Roll call. Vice Mayor Langowski.
Yes.
Mayor O'Connor.
Yes.
Councilman Werner.
Yes.
Councilman Werner.
Yes.
Councilman Gleason.
Yes.
Councilwoman Leonard.
Councilwoman Leonard.
Councilwoman
Oh,
Leonard.
you didn't say anything?
No.
Probably why it wouldn't come out.
Motion passes.
Motion carries 5.
We have before us the second reading of ordinance 2026-03, chapter 18, solid waste. City Attorney, please read by title.
Thank you, Mayor Commission. For the record, ordinance 2026-03 is an ordinance of the City Council, City of Westlake, Florida, amending chapter 18 of the City of Westlake Code of Ordinances entitled Solid Waste by amending section 1823 entitled Definitions, section 1849 entitled Residential Solid Waste Services Assessments Authorized, by creating section 1867 entitled Multifamily Developments to provide for the election of residential or commercial solid waste collection service for multifamily developments, establishing minimum service requirements, providing for applicability to residential solid waste special assessments, providing for compliance and enforcement standards, providing for service selection procedures, providing for codification, providing for conflict, severability, providing for an effective date. Mr. Mayor, this is a public hearing on second reading.
Thank you, Counselor. I believe we have a presentation from staff on this item.
Thank you, Mayor, council members. For the records in Leon City Planner for the City of Westlake. Again, this is second reading. Nothing has been changed from the first reading, other than we received a waste management letter in support of this ordinance. In your package also list service levels assumptions and methodology used, and also recycling service requirements. So they're completely in support of this ordinance.
Thank you. Let's open up for public hearing. Madam Clerk, do we have any public comment cards?
You have no public comment cards, Mayor.
Do you have any public comments before I close the public hearing? Seeing none, public hearing closed. Let's open for council discussion. Mr. Werner,
Thank you, Mayor.
what do you got for us?
Well, I know staff mentioned this at our first reading of this ordinance, but no mention was made of it tonight. This is not a city-initiated amendment. This is an applicant-initiated amendment. And I was wondering if I can have the applicant step forward so I can ask a question. Okay.
You guys could do tandem microphone, name stating addresses for the record.
Tara Dewey, Lewis, Lawman and Walker, on behalf of Minto Communities and the East Wind Apartment Complex.
Donaldson Hearing, Cutler and Hearing, 1934 Commerce Lane, Jupiter, Florida, here tonight on behalf of East Wind Development.
Thank you both. Just to start, I read through the ordinance. I don't have any problem with the ordinance. But I did ask the question earlier and I'll ask it again. Why is it that this is a city ordinance that is being amended, yet you as a private applicant are initiating this application?
I don't think the word initiation. Can you all hear me? I'm sorry.
Yes,
I'll bend down. I don't think the word initiation is the correct way to phrase that, to answer your question. What occurred is in the processing of the application, it became clear to our client who does this regularly that there wasn't a mechanism available in the city's code to address this issue, which in our collegial discussions biweekly with staff came up that we should address this, where then staff took it and put it together with, that's how it evolved. So I wouldn't say we initiated it. I think we were the first person to come in and identify that this was not a type of service that was permitted or allowed. And therefore the city felt like we needed to fill that box and allow for that. So I think that's a fair representation of how it sort of evolved itself.
Okay, thank you. I used the word initiation. I should have used the word paid for the application and processing by a private applicant rather than the city initiating the process, which wouldn't have cost any applicant any fees. Correct?
Correct.
And we haven't had this in the books for 10 years, and yet we're looking at it now. Is there a reason for that?
Again, we will be coming forward with a project. I believe it's coming in the next month or two, August 4th. And so again, in acknowledging that this is the first type of this product that's coming forward for the city, this was identified, it's filling this blank. We were actually hoping that that application was going to be before you tonight, but we were still working on a few things, so it will be in August. But they're unrelated. They're related because we're the first ones in the door with this type of development, but it's not for us and does not impact your ability to make a determination at the appropriate time and hearing on the actual apartment complex when it comes here.
Okay.
Before you.
So if it's not, therefore, if it's not for you, would you be willing to hold off on this second reading until your application for the development comes forward?
It's not our choice. It's not our application. I would defer to your city manager and your city attorney on how you want to manage it. Our application is coming forward. Our developer initiated application is coming forward in August. And we don't really have a say in that. We don't think there's a reason to hold off if you all are in favor of the language, because you will have other types of development in need of the services other than ours, and they're unrelated. So I think that's a discussion for you, your city attorney, and your city manager, and amongst yourselves.
And Mr. Mayor, if I could just add to reiterate the point by council, there's nothing in the ordinance before you this evening that will commit the city or the city council in any way, shape, or form as it relates to any future application that's submitted before the town.
Yeah, I understand that, council. But I also recognize that for the last 10 years, we have not had this ordinance. in the
That is
books,
correct.
And that perhaps waiting another 2 to 3 weeks to accompany a new application wouldn't do any harm.
Well, the August 4th agenda, as you know, is packed. There's lots of petitions on there. There's no reason to delay this and put it off. I always say, get done what you can do today and don't put it off to tomorrow. So we would ask that you approve it. The issue is that your code has a deficiency in it and we're fixing it. So there's really absolutely no reason not to move this forward and fix your code, just have a longer agenda on August 4th. So we would respectfully request that this move forward tonight.
Are you done, Councilman Winter? I have some questions. I have a couple notes here. I want to make sure that I'm fully informed here. This ordinance does these items well. Correct me if I'm wrong. It does correct a genuine gap in our code.
Yes.
Yes.
It does allow for multifamily hotel-like condominium, multi-story residential configurations to function.
Yes.
They cannot function without this item.
It's
not efficiently.
Efficiently. And it establishes minimum collection requirements for those.
Correct.
Okay. Excellent. Any other questions? No?
And I think more just clarification. So what I hear you saying is that when the project was presented, a service element was discovered to not be present for that project.
Correct.
So this allows us to provide that service
Correct.
to that project.
And I'll tell
And
you,
any project, so.
Any project, yes.
and I'll tell you why that's important, irrespective of our particular project, is if, I'll use a hotel, for example, that's covered here. When folks come in to do financial pro formas and assessments, they look at the cost associated with various services, including solid waste. So if there isn't a mechanism that allows them to do that assessment, it makes it harder to assess the viability of this community for their development. And that's truly how this kind of came about from us, because we wouldn't have necessarily fly spec this on behalf, but this particular developer does this all over. And this is part of what they do. So not having it is something that is a deterrent or creates a little bit of a hurdle for anybody who's looking to do this type of a development that would need this service. So that's just a broader answer to that question about why you should have all the types of services for the types of uses
Right.
that you may want to be in the city, so that when people are doing it, they can do the performance they want.
So to water it down a little bit, if say a hotel was looking to come to Westlake and doing their due diligence, they would see that we did not have a mechanism for that. They'd have no way to price it. They could potentially move on or not start a project because of the
Correct.
costs associated, and having that question mark.
Correct.
Excellent.
People like certainty, you can imagine. We all do.
Understood, yeah.
Everybody does. So that is just how this kind of works and how it bubbled up.
Any other questions? No? Okay, if there are, well, let me open up for public hearing.
Sorry, can I just add
Sure.
to Councilman Warner? So what is your reasoning for wanting to delay?
I'd like to see what the multiple family project is before consenting to this amendment. And if there is nothing proposed, then that would be fine. We can always adopt a second reading. But at this point, this seems to be connected to an application, which they've already indicated, and I'd like to see what it is.
But what does that have to do with its trash service? I guess I'm trying to understand.
Well, they apparently need this trash service to accommodate their proposal.
Correct. And any other multifamily project.
Well,
So
yeah,
as a
but
city, we're addressing.
but this is one that's on the threshold of coming to the council. I thought, well, for me, it would make sense to connect the two and see them together. It was an applicant paid for amendment.
Which seems like maybe that was where the issue came in. Maybe it shouldn't have been paid for by the applicant because the staff identified any multifamily project would need this service. So really,
True.
we should have presented it and maybe not
Anything
the
you don't have to
applicant
pay
pay for it.
I'm sure they'll take a refund.
Yeah.
My only qualm with Mr. Werner's logic is that we have discovered, however we have discovered it, we have discovered a genuine gap in our code, a deficiency in our city, a place where our city has fallen short. And we have a rare opportunity now to be proactive and not reactive and fix it not only for this potential project, but for all potential projects. And any opportunity I have to be proactive, I want to take. That's my.
And I want to say this in a direct way, just so everybody understands, because I know there's a whole public behind us. We may be talking in terms they're not hearing is they're disconnected issues, and nothing about what you vote today, yes or no, will stop us bringing forward our project. They're unrelated. So we'll have a trash issue at some point.
Right.
We'll work out, but they're not related. It doesn't bear on anything about what we're going to bring forward.
The trash issue exists and we have an opportunity to cure it.
Thank you.
Is there any other council discussion? Well, let's open for public hearing. I'm sorry. Do we have any comment cards? I don't know if I did this already or not, but.
You did, but there's no comment cards made.
Okay, does anybody who wants to comment on the deficiency in our code? Okay, I will close the public hearing and reopen council discussion. Did we get it all out? Is there any other comments from council on this item? Seeing none, I will ask for a motion.
I'll move that we table this item to the first meeting in August.
Seeing no second, the motion fails.
Make a motion to approve.
Ordinance number 2026-03.
Thank you. Ordinance number 2026-03.
A second.
Motion by Councilman Gleason, seconded by Councilwoman Leonard. Roll call, Mayor O'Connor,
Yes.
Councilman Werner,
As I indicated, I have no problem with the ordinance. I just look at the 3-week delay. And since that's not going to happen, I'll vote no.
Councilman Gleason,
Yes.
Councilwoman Leonard,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Langowski.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0. Councilman Werner dissenting.
4-1, Madam Clerk.
4-1.
4-1.
I'm sorry, 4-1. Councilman Werner dissenting.
We have before us Resolution 2026-14, levying the annual special assessment for, residential solid waste for the fiscal year beginning October 1st, 2026. City Attorney, please read by title only for the record.
Thank you, Mayor. For the record, Mayor Commission Resolution 2026-14 is a resolution of the City Council, City of Westlake, Florida, relating to the provision of residential solid waste services in the City of Westlake, Florida, providing for purposes and definitions, providing for legislative determinations, establishing the estimated rate for residential solid waste services special assessment for the fiscal year beginning October 1, 2025, directing the preparation of residential solid waste, solid waste services special assessment rule, authorizing a public hearing and directing the provision notice thereof, providing for an effective date.
Thank you, Counselor. I have here that you'll be providing an update on this item.
Just very briefly, Mayor Commission, if I could, the city currently provides a residential solid waste services within the city through an agreement with through an agreement with Waste Management. There's a special assessment that's a non-ad valorem assessment that's collected through the annual property tax bill using the uniform method for the levy and collection of special assessments as provided by state law, Chapter 197. The proposal before you this evening, establishes the preliminary assessment rate, which will be advertised on the trim notice, come before you for a formal public hearing and adoption in September.
Thank you. Let's open for council discussion. My first question is it going up a bit?
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Can you,
5%, I think. In the contract, we have Waste Management. It's a 5% increase every year.
only because I don't have that in front of me. It's currently how much per resident?
It's 324,
And what is it going up to?
336.
336. You hear that, everybody? It's going up to 336. That being said, do we have any other discussion from the council on this item? Mr. Werner?
Well, thank you. So did you say it was 5% increase?
Yeah, Mr. Christie, could you come up here? Mr. Christie's our operations coordinator, and he has the rocket fuel to the responses that you need here on this one.
Please state your name and address for the record, Hanif.
Hanif Christie, Hanif Christie, 16213 Malago Drive, in the Groves. So to the question that was asked, it is going up and it's going to be to 336, but this is basically in line with what our new rate with the contract that we signed with Waste Management that was adopted in December of last year.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, that's a good point to make mention of. When that agreement was approved by this council, I voted against it. It changed the escalator clause. Previously, the escalator clause for that agreement was up to the consumer price index, which at that point, when we approved it last year, was less than 3.5%. And yet Waste Management told this council, and the council consented to it, that the consumer price index was up 5% or more. So they put the 5% escalator clause into the agreement, and that's what we're now stuck with. So I just wanted to bring that up and make sure you are aware of that. That's all I needed to say.
Do we have any other questions from Mr. Hanif? No? Thank you.
Thank you.
While I got you, I know you're our waste management czar here at the city of Westlake. How have they been? How have they been to work with?
They've gotten better. A lot of the any concerns that happens is usually with our communities that are new. When it comes to the contractors being in their way so that they can pick up, and then so some of the new residents aren't quite sure whether or not, when they're supposed to put something out and why maybe something got missed. And so it just ends up being a constant communication between us residents, just to make sure that everyone's on the same page. I'll also mention there is going to be a flyer that's going to be going out soon by Waste Management to all the residents, basically giving more information on what they should be doing on which days and how they should also be putting out their bins, just to make sure that they're not close to their neighbors and it doesn't cause a problem for their trucks, because we don't have it where in some other cities, you pick it up, the garbage men pick it up by hand. Ours do it by the automatic truck. So we just
Right.
want to make sure that they have a little bit more space. But those are the type of things that we have issues with that we're alleviating.
Excellent. Any other questions? Just one quick, funny, not so much for the person that happened to story. Waste Management truck managed to grab their basketball hoop off the side of the road that we're using to play with. I don't know how this happened, but grabbed the whole hoop, dumped it, crushed it, and drove away. And I was the first call. I will say that within like an hour, they had cut a check to the resident in Westlake and got him his new basketball hoop. So they have been responsive. I don't know. He must have just been driving and pushing a button, but he grabbed the basketball hoop and then drove away with it. The resident actually had to review his camera footage to figure out what happened to his basketball hoop. So yeah, fun story. But thank you for everything you do. Appreciate you. I need to add some levity there. Okay, if there's no
I
count
just-
further.
I just have one comment.
Sure,
It's actually a 4% raise that I'm seeing, not 5.
Is it,
Good.
is it 4?
It's
Oh, it's 4. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. It's 4. It's whatever's
Yeah,
not
so
contract.
3.6% would have been 335,
Okay,
664.
all right.
And 4% is 336.92. So it's
Pretty much right there.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
it's very close.
All right.
Thank you. Excellent. Thank you for clarifying that, Mr. Gleason. I appreciate you doing the math. Okay, if there's no further discussion and noting that they could have gone to 5%, they only went to 4, may I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2026-40, the levying of the annual special assessment for residential solid waste.
A second.
Motion by Councilman Gleason, seconded by Councilwoman Leonard. Roll call, Councilman Werner.
Because our CPI has not gone up 4%, I vote no.
Councilman Gleason,
Yes.
Councilwoman Leonard,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Langowski.
Yes.
Mayor O'Connor.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-1.
Moving on to new business. Now, Carl Rasmussen, who's our lobbyist, who we just got that wonderful presentation from, this is his contract. And he wanted to apologize. He had a flight to catch back to Tallahassee. So he wasn't able to stay for it. He didn't want it to seem like he was snubbing the council and the public after that wonderful presentation. So he did text me and apologize. In fact, I kind of wanted to move this item up ahead and I failed to do so. I just forgot. So that being said, we have before us the approval of State Governmental Affairs Services Agreement. Do we have any staff comments or presentations?
None, just that we would like to recommend approving the contract retroactively to the expiration date of the previous one.
How much is the contract for?
The contract is $48,000 per year, paid monthly installments of $4,000 per year.
Okay, so we paid 48,000 and he got us 800 and something thousand in appropriations. So
good return.
Money well spent. Do we have any comments from the council? No, I would love to have a motion to approve his contract.
I'll move approval of the proposed professional services agreement with Metz Husband and Dotton, PA.
A second.
Motion by Councilman Werner, seconded by Councilwoman Leonard. Roll call, Councilman Gleason,
Yes.
Councilwoman Leonard,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Langowski.
Yes.
Mayor O'Connor,
Yes.
Councilman Werner.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Excellent. Thank you. Next item we have under new business is approval of an interlocal agreement with the Seminole Improvement District for shared services and cost allocation agreements. Do we have a staff presentation on this?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of the council. This is a staff's recommending that we approve the concept of entering into an interlocal agreement with Seminole Improvement District for the provision and allocation of certain services. Right now, as you know, the city of Westlake and Seminole Improvement District, we currently utilize and share the same offices. We share resources and these kinds of things. What I've discovered is that we don't always have agreements for it. And so what I'd like to do is be given the authority to really work on what the allocation should be so we can close it out. As you are probably aware, the Seminole Improvement District is relocating to another location. And so there's going to be a need to look at all these different arrangements because they're terminating services and some of the invoices and bills are in our name. So this gives me the authority to move forward with this. In practice, you've already done it. I'm just notifying you and asking for your permission to proceed with what we're doing. So
I have one caveat. I think it's absolutely imperative that you move forward with this. The way I read it, and you could correct me if I'm wrong, or legal could correct me if I'm wrong, this gives you the authority to not only negotiate those items, but also execute the contract. The only caveat I have is I would still like to see the contract before.
Okay.
So if we could, I'd like to modify it to give you the authority to negotiate like hell.
Right.
Then bring the contract in front of us right before we execute it, if possible.
I don't have an issue with any of it. Just want you to know that right now, there are invoices being paid right now without contract,
Understood.
no agreement. And
Yeah.
so that would require me to go through each one of them and bring them back to you. So do you have a specific one you'd like from?
No. I just, if this is going to be one, the way I read it, and I could be wrong, is the way I read it was one agreement, one interlocal agreement that included everything.
Yeah, no, I tried to list kind of what the areas were.
Right, as part of one agreement, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I would like to see that agreement right before we sign off on it, if possible.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean you can't negotiate. and
No, I mean, I can do
Put
that.
it together.
I can do that.
To the city manager, are you anticipating completing this agreement in the next couple of weeks?
Well, my intent was to work with Seminole Improvement District, close this out as soon as I can, once we sit down with them. So once I sit down with them, I want to be able to, say, okay, this is our portion, that's your portion. But now I'll have to come back once I have the agreement and have it ratified. So by the council.
Do you think we can have that done before the 4th of August?
I don't know. I mean, right now, there's been a challenge with meeting with the Seminole Improvement District. So, because the district director, she's housed in various locations. She's in our office certain days and then she's off-site some other days, but I'll try to work on it.
If you could, I mean, ideally, or at least most of it.
Okay.
I just want to see it before it gets.
Okay.
Would it be any better from your standpoint to send it to each of the council members? And then if we have any questions or concerns, talk to you about it?
Yeah, I'll do what I can. I'll work with you, speak
Would
with
that
you.
expedite
and-
it easier for you?
Well, there's some things that I could probably do, but I would say the majority of it is going to require your action because it's dealing with another governmental agency and it's never been it's never been officially done before.
Okay.
So
Right.
I have no problem.
So,
with coming back.
Counselor, do you understand that?
I do, and your manager certainly has the authority and portfolio to enter into those negotiations, but the final document will come back before this council for
Exactly.
approval
That's
prior
what I
to
mean.
execution.
Excellent. That being said, I need a motion, right?
Yes, Mayor.
To approve with that caveat.
Enter into an interlocal agreement with the Seminole Improvement District. I'll make that motion. I'll move approval of the concept of entering into the interlocal agreement with SID for the provision of allocation of shared services and authorize the city manager to negotiate and come back to the council before executing the agreement.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Werner, seconded by Councilwoman Leonard. Roll call, Councilwoman Leonard,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Langowski, Mayor O'Connor,
Yes.
Councilman Werner,
Yes.
Councilman Gleason.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you. We have before us Resolution 2026-16, approval of end user professional services agreement between the City of Westlake and Thompson Consulting Services. City Attorney, please read by title.
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor Commission, for the record, it's 2026-016, a resolution of the City Council, City of Westlake, Florida, approving and authorizing mayor to execute an end-user professional services agreement between Thompson Consulting Services LLC for the City of Westlake, Florida, providing for conflict, severability, and providing for an effective date.
Yes, Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of the council, if I can get Hanif Christie to come up and walk us through this particular resolution. It's related to a previous action that the council took with respect to into a interlocal agreement with Palm Beach County Solid Waste Authority. Go ahead, Hanif.
Thanks again. So the proposed end user professional service agreement establishes a cooperative framework between the City of Westlake and Thompson Consulting Services LLC for the disaster debris management and support services. Under the agreement, the city will have Thompson Consulting Services assist in documentation of debris within its jurisdiction and for coordinating reimbursement requests associated with debris collection activities, which include project/operations management, collection monitoring, automated debris management, site monitoring, debris vehicle certification, damage complaint tracking, date compilation reporting, payment monitoring, and reconciliation processing, reporting and coordinating with the Solid Waste Authority, project/operations manager, and other related services. Approval of this agreement will help ensure the city is operationally prepared for storm response activities and positioned to maximize reimbursement opportunities from FEMA and other reimbursing agencies following a declared disaster event.
Thank you. Let's open up for council discussion.
So I was trying to understand. So we have an agreement with Waste Management. And Waste Management contracts with Thompson Consulting when needed or necessary during a storm to pick up debris. Was that right? Because I was trying.
Not quite.
Okay.
So during natural disaster, it would be Thompson Consulting would make sure that any debris that was collected was properly counted so that we get reimbursed by FEMA. Now, as far as the aspect of waste management, that's not part of the agreement we have. We'll have another agreement that we're going to do with one of the debris contractors that Solid Waste Authority has in order to have them pick up that debris, and Thompson will be counting it essentially for us. Yes.
If I may, how did we come about Thompson Consulting Services? Have they done work with the city in the past? Are there other services? Like, how did we choose that? Like, fill me in here.
Okay, so okay, cool.
Were there other bids?
So in this case, it's with the Solid Waste Authority. This is their selected service that helps with that. Now, as far as history goes, the Seminole Improvement District has had an agreement with them already, but we haven't had one previously. And this was basically making sure that we are covered going forward.
Are there any upfront costs to this agreement?
Well, we'll have to pay out of pocket first and then be reimbursed by FEMA. So
No, if there's an incident.
if there's an incident.
But I mean, just in
No.
terms of entering
No.
into the interlocal agreement, are there any costs associated?
No.
Okay, and this is who Waste Management recommended?
Solid Waste Authority.
As SWA, I'm sorry. Okay.
It's confusing how to.
No, I just want to know how we came to be.
And if there is a disaster and there's state reimbursement, those would cover the funds that we're using for Thompson or.
Right, they just come much later.
Understood.
Yeah.
So we waited for the SID to give us 20,000.
That's coming in May. May the day never come. Okay, any other council discussion on this item?
And my understanding is it's also a backup to SID unless you're able to get a.
Well, it's not a backup. It's really in addition to, and we're waiting on the Seminole Improvement District to let us know if they will just do it for us.
Okay.
But we want to be in position to move forward.
We want to
because
cover it either way.
Either way, that's correct.
Working with FEMA, I think we all know they're very
Yes.
tedious.
I thought you were gonna
And
say
the
flow.
proper documentation is
Yes.
very important. Without proper documentation, they will deny
It will
your
deny it.
reimbursement.
So this will be
So,
the first of that documentation.
so the documentation, having a consulting firm take care of that for us is
Excellent.
very
Valuable.
worth the money.
Thank you. Any other questions before we move forward with, is this public hearing?
This is not a public hearing,
No.
Mayor.
Any other council comments before we move forward with a motion? Nope. Okay, I'd like to entertain a motion.
Mayor, I'll approve,
Thank you.
I'll move approval of the end user professional services agreement between the city of Westlake and Thompson Consulting Services.
I'll second.
Motion by Councilman Werner, seconded by Councilman Gleason. Roll call, Vice Mayor Langowski.
Yes.
Mayor O'Connor.
Yes.
Councilman Werner.
Yes.
Councilman Gleason.
Yes.
Councilwoman Leonard.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Moving forward, we have before us a discussion and direction regarding temporary and long-term city hall and administrative office space alternatives. Do we have any staff presentations on this item?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of the council, as part of the city's council's 2025 strategic plan, establishing a city hall presence was identified as a priority objective. And as you know, on June 2nd at our city council meeting, the mayor and council discussed various temporary and long-term options. What we came up with was 3 options primarily. We went over them. And at that time, it was decided that we needed to sharpen our estimate. And so I worked with Scott Wadowski, who's our billing official. Our billing official is a person really equipped to help us think through what numbers would be. And so we looked at a number of things. There is an exhibit that's attached to this item, and it kind of outlines what the costs were. And based on the direction we get tonight, we can really go and get bids for the actual work. So we'll know exactly how much everything costs. But I have Scott here. He can walk us through like the option depending on which one you go with. So.
Okay. Let's open up for council discussion unless Scott's got a presentation for us.
No.
No? Just here to answer questions. Council discussion?
Well, just to start off, the title of the subject is Administrative Office Space Alternatives. And I've been asking the city manager currently and the previous city managers that we don't only look at administrative offices, but also meeting place for the city
Correct.
council. I want to make sure it's included in this discussion.
Fair.
Yeah,
Was, I believe.
we discussed it. Yeah.
It would be the same footprint with off work hours that would enable the hospital to be okay for that site structure. Within reason.
Guys, this may be an unpopular opinion and it's just mine, but I feel that the backup is just not, and I asked Howard to send it to me as well. I feel like the backup for this item is just not sufficient to make this type of decision yet. I'm absolutely okay with allocating the money in the budget for when we do make the decision, but I want to see actual quotes, what it's going to cost to do the stormwater, what it's going to cost to do the plumbing, what it's going to cost to put a transformer. Do we need a lift station? There's so many questions and building is not an easy thing. I would love to see real quotes and maybe, we should even bring in P&Z to talk to us about different costs associated with this type of endeavor.
Yeah, I would like to see the modular units, the
Yeah.
size, the.
Pretty pictures, elevations, all the things.
And I would also like to see that whatever improvements we do make on that land will actually go towards
Correct.
the building that we're
Yes.
going to be building,
Right.
Yeah,
not just for a
We're not just
modular.
wasting the money.
Yeah.
Right, and that's part of the discussion. and That's
Yeah,
part of what I want to know, let's position these things in a way that the hard costs that we make, that we spend, the money that we spend, we have to be good stewards of taxpayer dollars in terms of bringing electricity and plumbing and so on, are the permanent.
Right, but can we,
Solutions.
I think that we should provide some direction and the 3 different options here are either we stay where we are, we go to leasing an offsite place, or we are looking to put modules on it. So I think the direction that maybe we could decide here today is give the city manager some direction and say, we're looking to go to making use of our land that we will soon own.
Well, I have to weigh that. So the problem is I don't have enough information to properly weigh that. I love that idea. but without knowing truly what it's gonna cost, I have to weigh that against the leasing option.
Okay, but I don't
So
also.
I don't have enough information to make that decision. There was one of the three options I thought wasn't viable, and that was the, according to your
James Business.
notes, that was the James Business Park.
Well, that's just one option.
Well, we can exclude that. We can exclude
So
that
we
one.
can exclude that.
That's okay. Let's talk about the other two. We can exclude that. one.
Yeah.
Oh, James Office Park, I brought that to the city manager's attention, but there are other spaces out there that
Agreed.
could be possible.
I-
And I don't think the effort has been given to look into what is available.
Correct. And I agree with you wholeheartedly. And without having real data, real metrics, it's hard to make that decision. And let's be perfectly clear, we haven't even closed on the land yet.
Well, that was another thing I was gonna ask, because you said earlier, we bought the land, but we haven't seen the survey yet, and it's a 45-day process once we get that.
I was
survey.
just informed earlier today that it looks like closing is gonna happen next week or so.
Yeah.
Okay, why don't we know that?
Well,
Literally just told
I don't know that, but you know, we have the attorney for the developer here, so maybe she could tell us
I was
that.
told by our city attorney, and I was also told it wasn't gonna come up today.
You brought it up.
Well, it's true, we don't own the land yet.
Let me just say one thing. I was asked to put three figures together.
And I appreciate your work, yeah.
If you wanted bid estimates, that's gonna take longer than 3 days to get.
Exactly. And I think it would be wise that we give.
Hey, I did this for me. I'm not gonna lie.
We give the city manager, and that's, I get it.
John, I don't you know that.
So that being said, I think it's okay that we give direction to budget for it. You know, let's have the money in the budget, but before we actually make a decision of what direction the city's gonna go, I think we need more data and
I
more
agree.
more information.
I spit every detail I.
And I
could.
appreciate it.
It spit me out all this info.
It-
and I-
Some of it
Very
was
helpful.
like, where are they getting 30,000 for moving costs? So, you know, like all AI, got it.
I was trying to look them up independently and I go, there's gotta be an easier way.
Right.
I'm not an AI guy. I said, let me just try it out. And I spent an hour with it. That whole thing.
Fair enough. We need to take some time on this. It's a huge city decision.
And
It's
they
a
were.
lot of money.
To the exact city we were in. It wasn't just a general.
Right.
It was for the area.
So, can I have a motion to table this item, I guess, until?
Can we,
It's a discussion.
but, yeah, it's only a discussion, but
We're discussing it.
can we give some direction on what we want to see? Because
Yeah,
without
let's-
direction, we could get the same.
I want to see actual bids from FPL, and perhaps some insight from planning and zoning, what it might take to make that land viable. Right?
Can I ask a question to the city manager?
Of course, please, you're
Do
recognized.
we know of a company that may be putting these modular spaces that will do the whole development of the land and everything, that maybe we could get someone that's in charge of like a general contractor or the general developer that will give us an encompassing price on what it would cost, presentation on what it would cost to put these modular office spaces on that land, but also to develop it to a point where when we do a permanent construction, that development will actually coincide with what we need.
You just changed the temporary building for a new building.
Correct.
Infrastructure.
Right, so
Exactly.
Started at Arthur Industries making
Right.
modulars.
yeah, so that's something that, you know, would benefit us by giving that presentation, but also having a developer that oversees the whole project, not individual quotes from FPNL, from the sewer, from this, from that. I would rather see an over compensation.
But that includes those items.
That includes those
Right.
items, but they're in charge of doing it all.
So.
Yeah.
I don't want to manage this project.
I
No,
reached out.
And I
that's not
don't
our
think
job.
the city wants to manage
I
the
almost
project.
reached out to
that.
Colton to get a rough figure,
Mhm.
figuring that that's exactly what they do.
Mhm.
I mean, the land has to get prepared. There's all these things.
Yeah.
So that should be the direction.
Well, the building official and I, we discussed everything you just said. And so we talked about that, and this is exactly the input we need. We need to, if you say it's this property, now we know what to do.
Where to go on, yeah.
So,
Well, we need that information and those hard costs and real figures, not
Yeah.
AI figures in order
I
to
got
make that
it.
decision.
But it's also for the other options as well.
We could also get options to see what it would cost to lease a place, but that's easy.
It's out.
Yeah.
That's pretty easy,
Of
you know,
course.
but I would much rather
But I think we put a
start
pin in
building
this
out our own.
until we have more
And it-
real
Yeah,
information.
It could be a hybrid. It could be modulars for that site, or maybe for office, for council chambers, one of the storefronts.
I don't hate that idea either. Whatever makes the best sense for the city.
Well, let us move forward with providing the actual bids for all this, and
Yeah.
hopefully we can find that. I think
Hopefully we
Scott had
could find one or
indicated that.
two one-stop
yeah,
shops that'll do
that
it
can
all.
do it
for
all.
us.
I was pretty impressed with the AI thing though, because it mentioned a lot of things I wasn't even thinking about. They put it right in front of me, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was happy.
Make sure they know that if they're giving us for information only at this point, and if they're included in a proposal down the road, it's gonna be with other bids.
Yeah,
Correct. We're not-
Too, I'm sure it'll still be around the bid, so.
Okay, well,
Thank you.
thank you so much for
Thank you,
that.
Scott.
And I think we have some presentation. Okay, where am I at here?
Number E,
Let me,
9/11.
Item E. We have before us Resolution 2026-12, authorizing the city manager to negotiate and execute a partnership agreement with the 9/11 Remembrance and First Responder Group and the Tunnel to Towers Foundation for the city's third annual 5K run/walk event. City Attorney, please read by title.
thank you, Mayor. Council, for the record, Resolution 2026-12 is a resolution, City Council, City of Westlake, Florida, authorizing the city manager to negotiate and execute a partnership agreement in a form acceptable to the city attorney with the 9/11 Remembrance and First Responder Group and the Tunnel to Towers Foundation related to the city's third annual 5K run walk event scheduled for September 12th, 2026, providing direction regarding fundraising activities, providing for city council approval of any city expenditures, providing for conflict severability, providing for an effective date. For your consideration, Mayor.
Thank you. City Manager, can you
Yep.
please provide a staff update on this item?
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor. As you know, we've been discussing the 5K race. This would be the third annual 5K run walk event. We plan on having it on September 12th. Our staff has had contact with the 911 Remembrance and First Responder Group, as well as Tunnel to Towers. And we're hoping that we can have a partnership agreement with all parties so that we can put this event on. And so the members of the 911 First Responder Group, Vice Mayor Langowski is on it. We have the mayor on it and Councilmember Gleason, and Planning and Zoning Board Member Bobby Farber. They're all on the 911 Remembrance and First Responder Group Board. And so what the proposed partnership does not provide compensation, financial benefit, or preferential treatment to any elected official or appointed official. And all donation sponsorships and the alike will be handled and managed by Tunnel to Towers. So what this does, this kind of allows us to work cooperatively together, and we set the date of the actual event, and we can work together. Our staff is authorized to work with all the parties, and so that's what this does. It also authorizes me to negotiate a partnership agreement, but in this approval, any money that's spent has to be approved by separate action of the city council. So that's what we're asking for, approving this resolution that will set.
Excellent,
set the
thank
date.
you.
Yeah.
I want to take a moment and truly thank Mr. Farber for bringing this forward. I know this has been your baby. This would not exist without you. I think it's an incredible idea, a wonderful way to honor and remember 9/11 and also bring a 5K with some meaning and some purpose to the city of Westlake. So I just wanted to say thank you for all that hard work. Just a couple questions or one question. Do we have an estimated cost to the city on what the event?
I don't have that information, Mayor, but I can get it for you.
I thought.
We
I can
have
tell
an
you-
item,
I
we have an
can-
item, we have
Wasn't
a,
much, but
No, I can tell you the 5K last year cost, the expense was about 22,000. There was 21,000 that was recouped through different areas.
right.
But it is one of our lower cost
Yeah.
events that we do support.
Just for clarification, in this case, though, if we brought in, if we spent 22-ish, say $1,000, what we brought in would then go back to Tunnel to Towers and not,
no,
we do recoup.
no, this is, we're just partnering with them, and if they raise funds, those funds go to Tunnel to
Yeah, I
Tower.
want to make sure
Yeah,
that the
yeah.
funds do go to tunnel.
So that was gonna be my suggestion, is that the city, since we have spent $22,000 in the past, that's about the amount that we allocate to the event. So that way it does look like, any money raised would eventually just go donated to the Tunnel of Towers. I think it's a good cause. I think that we do have a lot of first responders within our city, and to me, I don't think it's
Well, I mean,
would be a bad gesture.
I don't think so either, but I like partnerships as well. I want us to be partners where we're helping raise money for Tunnel to Towers, and not just subsidizing an event. But if there's a happy medium in there,
We could always, include, like, I believe when I was out, we did a Habitat to Humanities gesture. I think something like that, we could always maybe look at from the city too, if that's something that's legally allowed.
Are you saying that the city should be made whole after this?
No,
No,
not by any means.
Donation
It
to
just
them?
seems that in the past, the 5Ks we ran raised money for the schools, but it was what the money that was after the expenses were paid. I'm not looking, this is
I
such a
think we're
valiant
trying
cause.
to avoid the collection, and when I spoke to the city manager about it, the collection of money and then having to
Yeah, I know that
transfer
gets
that
messy.
money to Tunnel of Towers. So the way that this would work is Tunnel of Towers would set up their own donation website. And then that way, the way that I look at it, and I would foresee it going, is whoever registered for the event would do it, through the Remembrance Group, through Tunnel of Towers, and then be able to donate that money directly to them.
Counselor, how does that work? Because I know there's rules and laws and in terms of cities donating to nonprofits.
Yeah, so typically that occurs through the budget process. It's not uncommon for municipalities to appropriate contributions to nonprofits. Different cities handle that differently.
Okay.
It's more of a policy issue than it is
But there's
anything.
nothing legal.
There's not a legal prohibition, no.
I mean, I want to support Tunnel to Towers. I know it's an incredible organization. I don't exactly want to do it on the backs of the taxpayers, but if there could be some kind of a partnership where we're helping, but we're helping them raise money as well, I don't know how that gets structured, but.
The way it appears to me is that Tunnel to Towers is gonna be getting donations, through this whole process, but the name Tunnel to Towers being associated with the 5K run is likely to increase the number of runners that are gonna
Right.
actually pay whatever the fee is and increase the revenue to the city for the cost of that whole process.
Is that accurate?
Yeah, well, we have Bobby Farber. He can come up here and walk us through the part.
Let's invite Mr. Farber up here and maybe add some clarity.
4829 St. Armand's Way, just to answer a few questions before I get into this. The city did not want to have anything to do with what would be New York law, all right, being here in Florida. So the way we went about it is I took that on myself. So I became the fundraiser chairperson for Tunnel to Towers. I've signed off on everything.
Okay.
The only thing I would do with the city would be, when the race would happen, would be anything that would indemnify me from any type of, accident or anything that would occur, be part of the insurance policy for me and Tunnel to Towers. As far as the fund, what I get from them is I have a fundraising page. And like everyone else, I don't want to touch any of the money. 100% of the money will go to, if you will excuse me for a second. Something up here, but there is something that I've drawn up and I will pass it out to you all, a little something if you all like it. It has to be agreed by Tunnel to Towers. Any promotion has to be. There is a QR code. So that would be prominently displayed everywhere and anywhere. This is the first draft.
Thank you, please.
I got an extra one.
I
You
got
gave
it.
me too.
Thank you.
I know I'm special, but.
What about the actual cost of the event?
The cost of the event is going to be what you would normally incur. And
Which-
it's brought up that the whole idea behind this are then we are a blue collar city. We are raising for an incredible organization.
Agreed.
You will be running that by yourself. All right, it falls under your permitting, your insurance, your everything. The only thing like was also mentioned, the Tunnel to Tower name is a huge name. And I wish we had a little bit more time, but had we have had that, we could have had a large number of people racing here. And you're going to have a race master, which is a fixed cost that you've always had. You're going to have some type of health expo out there. They're going to be renting things. There's going to be a cost to run that race. All that money, for the most part, is going to the city. So the whole idea is, looking at everything that I looked at, this race is probably the one that you lose the least amount of money. You've lost 1,100 on this. You've lost tremendous amounts on.
Right, I agree.
So my hope is with a larger number, this will be a profitable race for the city. What I would like Councilman Gleason said, was there was a donation to Habitat to Humanity. And this race is right in your backyard. This is the Westlake baby. So I would like a comparable or some form of that if the city could do it on that line item. The other thought that I had, was to work out some other little ways for another part of a donation that I would work, of course, with Howard over. We've discussed that.
I mean, I'm okay with all profits going directly to Tunnel for Towers, every penny of it. I don't think the city needs a profit whatsoever on this event, personally.
Mayor, those are details that should be worked out by the committee.
Yeah, that's what we're doing. That's why we're talking.
The committee. Charlotte and I are not on the committee, but that's another question. How is it that 3 members of the council are on a committee? Does that not constitute?
I think it's part of the group. It's part of his 9/11 group. I'm not on the committee either.
Huh?
It's the remembrance group. It's not a committee sanctioned or. It's part of by the city.
Understand part of what's going on here too is, and this is also on my own, it's a 1-2 punch. I will be having a ceremony.
Guys, please, Mr. Farber speaking.
Ceremony. I've already booked the lodge here. It's going to be a Westlake 9/11 ceremony on the actual day. And that I've taken on myself, but to not think that I wouldn't want the entire council, the Seminole Improvement District, spoken to the PBSO, fire rescue, everyone's been on board, spoken to Mary Lou Bedford, she is willing to promote this race. She wanted to get it out a long time ago. I mean, so it is going to be, and I will be the first one to say, look, if you want to give all the proceeds, thank you.
Anything over expenses. That's more than enough. I don't think the city needs to profit off this 5K.
In the past, we've used that money for the schools.
Correct, but
there
now
was
we're
no money
giving it to
made.
Tunnel to Towers.
But the schools are local.
So
Couple things. So the last one we did 2 years ago, we were in a deficit, so we gave no money to schools. My one question is, if, we have an events director, so the sponsors that we're doing for vendors, we're doing a health and safety fair, is that coming to the city and we're paying that out, or we're just gonna take it all on us and then just give all the profit?
It was
any money that comes in to
it's all coming out. My idea was, again, if the city had a separate line item, like with Habitat for Humanity, that would be great. Outside of that, there will be a cost. Let's say it's $40 to run that race. All right. And with that, you'll get a medal, something. I'm hoping there's a t-shirt. It'll say Tunnel to Towers, Westlake, and the 9/11 in the back. I would only ask that if there's, let's say, a $5 fee out of every registration that comes to go to that donation, and it's all yours after that. Hopefully, again, this is a profitable, and then you could give to the school, give to art and public places, anything else that you would want to give it to. I'm not looking to do this so that we're going to be but time is a problem.
Understood. We're at this juncture, we're being very speculative. Counselor, is it possible to make a decision on how to allocate any excess funds after?
It is, that's correct. And this item is authorization to your manager to negotiate and execute a partnership agreement with that organization. So those conversations are still yet to be had.
Fair
When it comes to any excess revenue generated. It's certainly something this commission can decide at a later date.
And I'm okay with that. Is the rest of the council okay with deciding on a later date? There
Yeah, that's
is,
fine. That's what it says here at the bottom.
there is an item that maybe we missed, which only this council can take action on, and that's the use of our city seal on
That's correct.
promotional
Yeah, that is correct.
material. So I would like to ask for a motion right now to authorize and approve the use of our city seal on this material so that we're in compliance for one. Can somebody make that motion?
I'll move that we approve the use of the city seal on the 9/11 Remembrance Tunnel to Towers Foundation, Westlake 5K run event on September 12th.
I'll second.
And once again, I hope you're all there for the ceremony. I have spoken to Tunnel to Towers. Did send them that. So just so that you know, they have to okay everything that comes where their logo is going to be used. This thing that I've drawn up over here, hopefully it's all okay with everyone, is been approved. I've gotten the thumbs up that this is okay with what I put out, but we will have to let them know in the future. I did write a little something. I don't know.
Hold on. Sorry to interrupt you, sir. We have a motion and a second. Let's do roll call.
Thank you. We have a motion by Councilman Werner, seconded by Councilman Gleason. Roll call, Councilman Werner.
Yes.
Councilman Gleason.
Yes.
Councilwoman Leonard.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Langowski.
Yes.
Mayor O'Connor.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
All right, and then real quick, I want a motion to enter into the agreement.
To approve me
To approve
talk about the
city manager
details and
to negotiate an agreement and move forward with this. Is it a resolution?
It is a resolution, yeah.
2026.
Yep. I need a second.
Second.
I'm sorry, who did the motion?
Motion by Vice Mayor Langowski, seconded by Councilman Leonard. Roll call.
Thank you. Councilman Gleason.
Yes.
Councilwoman Leonard.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Langowski.
Yes.
Mayor O'Connor.
Yes.
Councilman Werner.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Now you have the floor, Mr. Farber.
Okay, so I want to say thank you to Howard Brown and the members of the council for this. Be a pivotal vote to move forward with this partnership, this collaboration between the city of Westlake and our 9/11 Remembrance First Responder Group and the phenomenal Tunnel to Towers Foundation represents the beginning of a profound, hopeful, and lasting annual tradition. When my fiance Kim and I first bought our home here in Westlake, a visit to Wellington Amphitheater changed everything. Seeing their beauty, dedicated memorial area to that tragic day struck a chord deep within me. I knew instantly that Westlake needed its own sacred space, a permanent area of reflection, and a yearly ceremony to honor the fallen. Later, when I witnessed a local 5K race championed by our former council member, Julian Martinez, turned to Kim and I said, I want that for our city also. My passion for this cause is forged in history. On the morning of September 11th, I was working at the southeast corner of the South Tower, fixing traffic signals and street lighting when both planes struck. I witnessed the unimaginable horrors of that day unfold in real time. The very events that would later be televised, recounted across global media. In the grueling days that followed, I worked around the perimeter of Ground Zero, tirelessly relighting Wall Street and surrounding areas to aid the rescue and recovery efforts. Our support for Tunnel to Towers is deeply meaningful. The foundation was born from the heroic sacrifice of firefighter Stephen Silla, off duty when the attack occurred. Stephen drove towards the World Trade Center to assist his brothers and sisters. Finding the Brooklyn Battery Tunnel closed, he didn't hesitate. He strapped on 60 pounds of gear, ran through the tunnel to help everyone, ultimately making the ultimate sacrifice. Today, Tunnel to Towers Foundation support our heroes, the families and entire communities. Their extraordinary outreach includes smart homes for the crucially injured, constructing specially adapted mortgage-free smart homes to restore independence and for the catastrophically injured veterans and first responders, building communities and housings, developing entire mortgage-free housing communities tailored specifically to support veterans and families left behind, supporting families of fallen global heroes globally, providing urgent mortgages, payoffs of houses, support for Gold Star families, including the families of American service members recently lost in active global conflicts. First responders and service members, ensuring that active duty military veterans and local first responders always have a safety net for their sacrifices. And lastly, as we establish this lasting legacy in Westlake, I look forward to your continued leadership, support, generosity towards both the foundation and 5K at our upcoming September 11th Remembrance Ceremony and 5K race. We welcome any assistance, resources, or guidance the city can provide to help make these inaugural events powerful reality. By bringing this partnership to Westlake, we aren't just remembering the past, we are actively supporting the families of those who protect our freedom and safety every single day. Thank you, council, for helping us bring this vital vision of remembrance and honor to the community to life.
Thank you, Bobby. This
Thank
is
you.
great. I really appreciate it. This is a wonderful addition to the city. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, I have one more comment.
Please.
It says members of the 9/11 Remembrance and First Responder Group include Vice Mayor Greg Langowski, Mayor John Paul O'Connor, and Councilmember Eric Leeson, Planning and Zoning Board Member Bobby Farber. 3 members of the City Council. Mr. Legal Counsel, does that raise any concern?
So a couple, excuse me, a couple things. So there's no issue with 3 members of the board serving on another third-party board. Happens from time to time in the context of homeowners associations, nonprofit boards and the like. The issue is whether there's any item that's going to come before this board for some future action. In other words, we know there's limitations on discussions on any matter that's going to foreseeably come before this board. So we're talking, the only item that's before you now is what you're talking about this evening. There may be discussions about allocations of funds in the future, as we're talking about.
Right.
I would just caution the members of the board, to the extent you're serving on a committee, to be mindful about those discussions and to be mindful of the sunshine law, which I know you all are trained on or all aware of.
Yeah, so my suggestion is that we leave Eric Leeson on there because I think he took over this project from Julian and dropped the mayor and the vice mayor for those reasons. Because there will be matters coming back to the council that will require council approval. And if that's not good, then I would say add Charlotte and myself. That makes it, would that make a difference?
Well, the key is one of notice, because those meetings could also be noticed. You could provide, notice pursuant to the
That's the
sunshine.
point
law.
of 3 members, right?
Yeah.
I think I can help here. I have not had the benefit of attending one of the meetings, although I certainly would have loved to, out of town and so on and so forth. So even though it states me as a member of the group, I have not actually participated in any way, shape, or form. Does it help us legally if I recuse myself and then there's only 2 members, so there can never be a quorum?
Well, the quorum issue is not the issue.
It's not an
Yeah,
issue,
correct.
okay.
The quorum is not an issue. It's any 2 or more members of the council engaging in dialogue in any matter that's going to foreseeably come before this council for future action.
So what are your
provide-
recommendations
Well,
as
you
council?
got a couple options. One is just be mindful about dialogue when you're sitting on that board, which is maybe difficult depending on what the board is actually doing.
It's a community group. It's not a board.
But again, it would make no difference.
If I may please clarify, for a point of clarification. My group is the 9/11 Remembrance of First Responder Group. It's a group that is set up here in Westlake as part of the master HOA here. The people that are in the group are not quote unquote on the committee. They're just members who come as a support group to hear what I have to say, or, any projects that might be going on from my group and my group only. So it doesn't cross-reference anything that has to do with this race or anything else.
I was at your meeting and my name is not on here.
Well,
You didn't make that.
No.
I didn't either make it. But yes, you were there. But I think what they're talking about is I have a webpage on Facebook. And people have joined that group. So members of the council have joined that group. Eric Gleason, Vice Mayor
I am a member of the Facebook
Langowski has, you haven't at this point. You're everyone is free to join that, so that's
And
why.
if I could also just offer, it wouldn't make a difference if you're formally on a committee or not. In other words, if you are sitting.
Just be mindful.
If you're in a
I
room
think we're
having a
adults, so we can do
conversation,
so.
any two of you about that matter.
I think for the most part, you just sit there and listen to.
If you're on a committee.
Y'all sat in different rows.
And that's, and there you go. And again, if there is doubt, those meetings could always be noticed
Yeah.
that two or more members of the council may be in attendance, just to provide that additional layer of, sunshine law coverage. But the key is that any two members of this council having any dialogue about any matter that's going to foreseeably come before this board for action in the future.
Councilman Warner, I see it as no different from when I go to Crestwinds and speak in front of the women's group and you're in the audience and I'm speaking and answering questions and telling, updating members of the city. I'm not a member of that group per se, but I'm there presenting in front of them and I don't see any legal challenges there.
Well, no, but we're talking about something that's before us tonight and is likely to come before us in the future. And as the attorney already said, three of you on that, it says you're on that group.
I've never been to a single thing.
No, I understand that,
So-
but this is a red
For
flag.
future meetings or anything that we do, Bobby, we will make sure that we coordinate that there is no more than one of us in attendance at each event. And
No more than one.
no more than one,
Oh,
so.
that makes sense.
And so then that way, it would always be just one person.
Is
and
that
there
really
could be no
necessary or-
accusations.
I don't think that's necessary.
But I get it, but it's the perception.
Yes.
And we want to avoid that perception. So if you want to be in attendance, I'm willing to take a step back. And I just think that.
I mean, I would hope we can all attend the actual 5K. I would hope we can all attend the awards ceremony.
As long as we're not talking about any business. If the group is going to talk, I'm sorry.
Because since, you're acting for the 5K, that's your thing. But, it's like if we were all part of the Girl Scout or Boy Scout troop and we're the parents and we're sitting, we just don't talk
I
about the
get
city
it.
business.
I understand it. We don't bring up city business, but we do bring up, we could bring up the 5K in that group. You know what I'm saying? And
And the other members just don't say that.
How about any meeting where we're specifically going to talk about the 5K that's not a ceremony that's sanctioned by the city? We just don't have more than one person there. The only
Right.
thing that's off limits is the 5K.
Right.
That's the only thing that.
And I would
comes before
agree
the
with
group.
that. At any
Yes.
one of my meetings, anything that would have to do with the 5K race would have to be in the forum of,
Right, four of us
public-
could step out of the room.
where everyone would have to be
Right,
present.
5K only.
Right. Typically
It's
at
the
the
only thing that's ever gonna
meetings,
come
I
before.
just talk about what Tunnel to Towers is giving out, maybe how the ceremony is going to go. You're free to sit there and you don't have to talk to each other. But the sight of having you all there means a lot to me. And it probably shows a lot to the people that are there. When I have that ceremony out here, you're just going to be there in a ceremonial role. I mean,
Right.
I'm going to say what I want. I'm going to ask
would
the
have-
mayor to come
And I
up
would be honored to.
and whoever else wants to do it. So it will not involve anything where our partnership or
Right.
whatever you want to call it would.
Yeah, that part of it is not a problem. And the only problem is when it comes, the council needs to make in behalf of this whole
Right.
event.
And at my group, that should never be put forth on you because I am a separate entity in that group from you. So I don't bring any order of business.
I think we can, as a council, we can agree to just be mindful that any discussions regarding the 5K itself, because the 5K is the only item that's going to come before us, we never have more than one of us in the room. Is that fair?
That would be-
We all agree on that?
That would comply with the law.
Excellent.
All right, cool.
Thank you. And thank you. Okay, what's next?
Letter F.
We have an item F, special events revenue expense and net cost summary. Do we have a presentation by staff?
Oh, we have an update. As you know, at our previous council meeting, Councilmember Leonard, we discussed here on the dais about she wanted a listing of what the events cost. And so in the packet is a list on what the events cost. And she can take it over from now, or I can just go through it or whatever you'd like.
So I think the question wasn't really, we wanted to look at each event and if the city wanted to support through the budget and the operations and the taxpayer dollars for events, because the events based, and my computer died, so I don't have the facts, but I think we wanted to look at what is the city spending for those events? How many of our residents are attending the events? I attended the Spring Fest, and I guess that prompted the question, how many Westlake residents are attending our events? So I truly wanted a count, like, are we counting our residents that are attending? Because we get a lot of outside participation from surrounding communities. And if we're not pulling in our Westlake residents to these events, are we serving and meeting the purpose for which we initially started this? So that was the question to begin with.
Understood.
So
I have some personal opinions on that, seeing as how, coming from inception, when we started as a little baby city that had absolutely nothing around us, we started putting on events to serve the public. We started putting on events to give something back to the community. And I think it's really hard and sad to quantify it as how much are we spending, because it's truly a community service. If you would have seen Fourth Fest was just, I know it's expensive. Trust me, I know it's expensive. And I know it wasn't expensive the very first year because of how much we were able to bring in sponsorships, but it's a community service. It's something we're doing for our residents. It's also something we do for the surrounding areas. And it's something that brings us all together and bridges the gap. It's not us versus them. And I say this a lot, Westlake's not an island, we're not surrounded by water. And these community events, we have 4 a year, we have one every 3 months. The 5K being one of them. And I know they cost money, but I think that the benefit far outweighs the cost. That's my opinion. I do think we can be frugal about it and responsible about it and good stewards of the tax dollar and try our best to bring in more sponsorships and try our best to bring in more community partners. And I happen to agree with Mr. Farber in his first statement. We should definitely have done those awards later in the day and the thank yous later in the day. And maybe even the national anthem and everything a little bit later in the time. There's nothing that says we have to do it right when the event starts. But the difference between when Fourth Fest started and when it ended, I mean, it was, I want to say 2,500 parking spots, and every single one of them was filled to the point where people were still parking across the street, and then all the golf cart spots, and then they were putting cars in the golf cart spot area. I mean, it was just an incredible event.
So, Mayor, let me just say, I think, and then I wasn't trying to compare. I think it was, are we meeting the purpose for which we initially started? And if the answer is yes, then we continue with.
I think we are, and
I think that's where we started.
And I think now that we have a dedicated events human, it can only get better. But we're a growing city. We started with one big event, and then we added a Christmas pop-up, and then we even had a food truck DJ night one night years ago. We had, I forgot what it was called, Eats and Beats, Westlake Eats and Beats.
Yeah.
This was years ago, where we had just a DJ and a bunch of food trucks, but that's when we really had no budget, and it kind of paid for itself. I think we can be responsible about it, but also encourage the events, because it's something great for the community to look forward to, taking your picture with the Easter Bunny and
I
all
agree with
that.
the mayor. The value of the dollars that we're spending versus the goodwill that we're establishing in the neighborhood. I think we need to do that.
Yeah.
No, and again, it was not a money, it was just a question, are we meeting? And I think sitting out there, maybe it was timing, maybe it was a lot of things, because I was a vendor, I was hot, I was one of those people
That
going,
event started way too early.
are we getting the participation from the community? Because I sat there for 8 hours and I didn't see a lot. So it made me question whether we truly were serving our community. So that's where, but
Yeah.
that's what prompted the
That was
question.
Spring Fest.
That was Spring Fest. So yes, it was hot. It was a lot going on that day. So
I
it
think
made
we
me
keep
say like,
improving,
why are we
but
doing this?
I would hate to be the council member who voted to shoot down events.
No,
I,
That's not the, no, it's not the point. Let me just keep saying that. It's
Fair
just
enough.
to talk about what we're doing and do we still want to, are we meeting our purpose? If we started out wanting to serve the community, brand visibility, bring Westlake connection to the other, then that's what we're doing.
I think we have room to improve, but I definitely think that our intentions are being served and the good to the community far outweighs any expense that,
Yeah.
you know, and we can always do better. I desperately wanted a drone show for 4th of July, desperately, and unfortunately, they were all completely booked and that fell through. But maybe that's something we could have next year, and we tried so hard. But any other comments before we move forward? No? There's with this item, right? Okay, thank you for bringing that forward. I think it's definitely important to talk about. We have before us Resolution 2026-13, consideration and appointment of one regular board member, one alternate member. This is to the Education Advisory Board. Madam Clerk, you got an update for us?
Yes, thank you, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council. The Education Advisory Board consists of 5 regular members and 1 alternate member. There currently are 2 vacant positions, board, 1 regular board member, and 1 alternate board member seat. Before you for consideration, you have applications and resumes from Diana Rivera and Shelley Murray for consideration.
And Mr. Mayor, if I might just read the title for the record.
Sure.
Resolution 26013, a resolution of the City Council, City of Westlake, Florida, appointing 1 regular member and 1 alternate member to serve on the Education Advisory Board, providing for conflict severability, providing for an effective date. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, so we have 2 applications before us and we have 1 spot and 1 alternate spot. Being as how Vice Mayor is the education guy, go ahead. Give us an update.
Just a quick update. So we actually have 2 members here tonight, our chair and also Chad's here. We have 2 members of our Education Advisory Board. I don't believe either applicant is here. You're Shelley. Okay. So we do have 2 individuals, Dr. Riviera and Shelley Murray. She's right there. I don't know, I mean, if you all had a chance to review their documents.
No.
Okay. I'll invite you up to speak for sure. Come on up. State your name and address for the record and why you want to serve on the board. And I want to say I certainly appreciate you being here tonight.
I'm Shelley Murray. My address is 15438 Goldfinch Circle. I am currently retired for 1 year. I retired from the Palm Beach County School Board last year as an SLP for 40 years in Palm Beach County. I want to apologize for you for writing because I was so excited. And then when I saw that everything else was typed, I was very embarrassed. And furthermore, when I retired a year ago, I never thought I would have to do a resume again. So I didn't have a resume. I apologize. I want to tell you that I have been an SLP for 40 years in Palm Beach County. My husband was also a PE teacher at Bings Forest for 30 years. My daughter is a teacher at Golden Grove, and I also have 2 grandchildren. One is going into 3rd grade at Golden Groves, and one is at VPK at All Star 2. So, and the reason I want to volunteer is because my husband is perfectly content to play his games, and I need more. So, and I feel like I have a lot of experience. I've been in a lot of different schools. I know how schools work. So I feel like I would have a lot to contribute to support for schools.
The person who shows up.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm going to go ahead and make a motion. After reviewing both documents, make a motion to approve Mrs. Murray as the voting board member and Dr. Riviera as the alternate.
Let's do a roll call vote. Stand by, guys. Stand by. Let's do roll call. We have a motion and a second.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, who did the second?
Councilman Werner.
Motion by Vice Mayor Langowski, seconded by Councilman Werner. Roll call, Councilwoman Leonard.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Langowski.
Yes.
Mayor O'Connor.
Yes.
Councilman Werner.
Yes.
Councilman Gleason.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Now let's have it. Okay, moving and grooving here.
Mayor, if I could just add for the record, that will include the addition of their names in the resolution, and by that motion and action, we'll have adopted resolution 26-13.
Excellent. Do we need a separate formal action on the resolution or no?
That action will embrace the adoption
That
of the
will.
resolution.
Excellent. Very good. Thank you. Now, we have before us the approval of participation confirmation letter for the Palm Beach County Qualification Program fiscal years 2027, 2029. City Manager, what's this about?
It is about us participating, our continued participation in the CDBG program essentially for Palm Beach County. So this is our urban county agreement. We're one of a number of cities that participate in the program. So it puts us in position to receive federal funds through Palm Beach County. And we have not received any because we don't meet the low to moderate income census tract data. However, if we participate in this program, we can make applications that are not in the regular course of some of these applications. One in which was a senior center I've been talking to them about. So those are the kinds of things that we can do around the process, but we need to be in this particular program. So this is continued participation in the program. You've been doing this every year since you've been a city. Right now, you're not eligible for certain funding, but it's something I think I'm recommending that you continue to participate. So.
Okay, let's open up for council discussion. Any discussion on this item?
Nope.
No? All right, I need a motion.
No, you can do it.
Make a motion to approve the confirmation letter for Palm Beach County Urban County Qualification Program for 2027 through 2029.
Second.
Motion by Vice Mayor Langowski, seconded by Councilman Werner. Roll call, Vice Mayor Langowski.
Yes.
Mayor O'Connor.
Yes.
Councilman Werner.
Yes.
Councilman Gleason.
Yes.
Councilwoman Leonard.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you. We have before us resolution 2026-15, the proposed millage rates
Oh, boy.
for the fiscal year 2027 ad valorem tax and a date and time for the first public hearing. We need to consider the proposed millage rate. City Manager, you got an update, or should we bring up the options?
We could bring up the options. As you know, we've had two budget workshops. First one was June 30th. The second one was
the day before yesterday.
And at that meeting, the council discussed options, and we've come up with three scenarios and what the proposed millage rate should be. If you could come to, we'll have Lucas McDonald, our accounting supervisor, come up and walk us through the three options. You should have in your packet as well the actual budget presentation and the proposed FY 27 budget also. With that.
Thank you for the first time in 6 years, I'm going to pass the gavel. I don't want to stall the meeting. I'm going to take a quick bio break. You have the gavel, Mr. Vice Mayor. I'll be right back. You keep going. I've seen this before.
Lucas McDonald, 7642 Principal Road, Westlake Chapel. The proposed budget is presented with three general fund versions. One for millage rate of 4.6, which is what existed from last year. 4.59 and 4.55. I need to indicate here that the downward change in terms of revenue for a millage rate of 4.59 is approximately 20K. 4.55 is approximately 98K.
Can we go to page 5 of the budget work? Yeah, there we go. Yeah. So we are currently at 4.6000.
Which is what the city was at last year.
And at the July 14th budget workshop, second budget workshop, staff is providing options on the proposed budget.
Question. So I know, the 98,000 difference is that's if we did the 2.55.
That
The
was if we-
2.59 was 18,000?
The 4.59 was approximately 20K.
20, okay.
Yeah.
And then the 4.6 is what we're currently at, and we could keep it that way. Now, just a reminder, whatever is set tonight cannot be changed. We can fluctuate numbers between the next workshop, the next votes, but the millage has
We
to be
can't
set
go
tonight.
higher.
You can't go higher.
You can't go
Go low.
high, you can go lower. Yeah, correct. You can't exceed the ceiling you set this evening, but in September, at your final.
We can always go
Adopt,
down.
you can reduce, you just can't exceed. That's
Right,
correct.
so that's our question. And we know that the 4.6 is the recommendation of staff. The 4.6 mils, correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, Vice Mayor.
So 4.6 is a recommendation, but if we decide in the next meeting that we want to go down, we can't.
We can't.
Just-
And that would be in September at your final, your first, your tentative millage rate, followed by your second final millage rate.
And we have another budget hearing as well.
What will we know at that point in September that we don't know today that might clarify some of these concerns? Do you know?
Just if we're changing numbers within the budget. That's the only thing
No,
that's.
but
gonna-
that-
No, I don't,
There'll be more revenue
I don't think,
information?
I don't think anything will change because we received our final certified values from property appraiser's office. And so we know what that number is now.
So we have the best revenue information. At
Best
this point.
available-
It won't be any better in September. The information.
Yes, that's correct. Yes, we received our final certified values on July 1st. Well, maybe a couple of days before. They gave us preliminary values back in June, and then they gave us our final certified values back in on July 1st. They're required by law to do July 1st, so.
My inclination would be to keep it at 4.6 or at best 4.59, knowing that we can come down later, but not.
So the 4.6 is what you would, or is that what you're suggesting? Because we can always move down. Can't go up.
Let the record show the mayor's back.
Yeah, so flip off 0.01.
Let's clip it.
We can get it. but I think
He's saying
should-
we can change
have
it.
that ceiling.
I'm
We can do it now.
with either 4.6 or 4.59,
4.5.
which is basically the same. We can adjust that
It is the same.
$20,000 difference.
Oh, yeah. The 20.
It is the.
We have enough. I won't say it.
Don't say it.
F word.
Yeah.
43, 122.
It's fun.
I'm okay with, since it's a ceiling, I'm okay with 4.59. Make this a short meeting. Ceiling, $20,000.
We went beyond short.
Is this a public discussion item? Are you gonna get public input? It's not a public hearing.
I'll get public input at the end of the meeting.
I don't think.
For the sake of tonight, in my opinion, would be to set it at 4.6 because we can always go down. We just can't go high.
I'm okay with that too. I'm okay with
At
it.
least we're set.
I'd much rather,
And then our next meeting, which is not that far, then we'll.
why not set it at 4.59 now?
Because if we do 4.6 tonight, and then when the final adoption comes in, we decide at 4.59, when everyone else is adopting their budgets, it's gonna be more newsworthy then.
Well, I mean, we could also.
Because right now, it's like, it's not really important,
could
especially
also-
since Project Tango just hit. You gotta think about when the newsworthiness of it.
We could also decide to go 4.55, I'm just saying. Well,
Well,
what do you guys think?
So I'd say,
I'm okay with 4.6. You need a motion?
Well,
I'll move that we set the millage rate at 4.6.
For tonight. Because I'm, yes, I'm hoping to go down. I just think we should.
oh, it's gonna go down.
Tonight.
It's gonna go down. We have a motion and a second.
You have a motion by Councilman Werner, seconded by Vice Mayor Langowski. Roll call, Mayor O'Connor.
This won't be the vote I lose, yes.
Councilman Werner,
Yeah.
Councilman Gleason,
yes.
Councilwoman Leonard, Councilwoman Leonard,
Yes.
Mr.
Vice
Mayor?
Mayor Langowski.
Yes.
Motion carries
Mr. Mayor,
5-0.
You need a resolution, a motion to adopt a
Yes.
resolution with the addition of 4.6.
And don't we need to state it as well as the rollback rate? or
That's,
not?
no, that's in September.
Okay,
Okay.
so now we need to adopt the resolution and we need to actually articulate the millage rate.
All right, move approval for resolution 2026-15, setting our city of Westlake millage rate at 4.6,
Keeping it the same.
keeping it the same.
Second,
Motion by Vice Mayor Langowski, seconded by Councilman Werner. Roll call, Councilman Werner.
yes.
Councilman Gleason.
Yes.
Councilwoman Leonard.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Langowski.
Yes.
Mayor O'Connor.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Okay,
Said Mayor, just for the record, by adoption of that resolution, you're also setting your first
Maximum millage rate.
hearing on your millage rate and your preliminary budget on September 8th, 2026 at 6 PM in this room.
when's the 5K?
That's well.
This is
12th,
September
okay.
8th.
Got it, September 8th. Very good. Understood. Thank you for that, Counselor. Okay, council comments, Councilwoman Leonard.
Good evening. Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to ask that we do a proclamation in September. I'm a month or 2 months early for Hunger Action Month. That's a national Feeding South Florida program where they want us to recognize the fight against hunger. So I'd like to propose that. But secondly, Maria Sachs, the commissioner, is holding a listening tour regarding Project Tango. There was no dates with this, and I forgot where I read it, but her number, in case any of our residents are interested, it's 561-355-2205. They can reach out to her and find out from her office when the listening tours are occurring for Project Tango.
That got voted down yesterday.
It did?
Yes.
Tango?
Yeah, no.
Oh.
Project Tango got voted down last night. Yeah, and after a 13.
She won't be doing that.
13 hour.
It's permanent. You can tell.
If you guys think this meeting has been long, that meeting was 13 hours long last night.
What time did they adjourn?
13 hours. It was late. It was like 10 o'clock. It was super late at night. Yeah. But it did get voted down 5-1. Marino voted in favor. She was the only one. And our commissioner, Mayor Baxter, recused herself.
Recused herself.
But all the other commissioners voted it down. So
All right.
Well, she was legally required.
because of statements that
Yeah.
that was, anyways. Councilman Gleason,
No comment, sir.
Councilman Werner,
I'm all talked out tonight.
Vice Mayor.
I'll just say, great job on the Fourth Fest.
Yeah.
And I also wanted to do a shout out to Ms. Flores for all her hard work. There was a lot of work that went into that. I was amazed just walking around like compared to past years, it was a great event. So I echo Mr. Farber's comments as well.
Amazing. I'll be brief, but I have some initiatives that I'd love council consensus or direction or whatever you want to call it on. And they involve art in public places. So a couple ideas, one being now that we have this appropriation for public transportation and we may have a bus coming to Westlake with Go West, we have a rare opportunity. I think we should use some of the funds in our arts and public places to create art that it acts as the bus shelter, not just basic generic nonsense BS bus shelters, but we're the city of Westlake. We can have something really fun and exciting and beautiful. So I would like to get started with charging the Arts and Public Places Committee to bring stuff to the board as options of potential bus shelters that act as art. That's something.
Can we combine that with the bike racks that I've been trying to push for?
And while they're meeting, let's make them do some artistic bike racks as well. So you guys went from no work to you're gonna have a ton of work because also, and I wish I could take credit for this, but I can't. Miss Alicia from Westlake Wanderer had the absolutely incredible idea. We are a young city who's just celebrated its 10-year decennial. I think we should also, and we could use funds in arts and public places for this as well, which there happens to be 230 something thousand in that account or so. But she had the idea of doing a time capsule, a time capsule. So now that we have land, we will have land, and we're a 10-year-old city, I think it would be really, really cool and impactful for the city of Westlake to have a time capsule that maybe in 100 years or 50 years or however time capsules work, we can all put things in there. We can collect things from different areas that, yeah, all of it. And it's something that, long after we're gone, generations can open up and see really where we came from and where we started and where we are at our 10 years of inception. So I kind of also want Arts and Public Places to take lead on that, mostly because I want it to come out of that budget. I don't want it to, expend anywhere else. So if you guys are cool with that idea as well, you've got, yeah, of course, everything comes back. But I just think it was a phenomenal idea and I thank you. So we got bike racks, time capsule, and bus shelters. So if we could start scheduling those meetings, get the, because they're governed by sunshine. Let's get the Arts and Public Places Committee together, give them their marching orders and see what they come up with. Cool. On that note, thank you all. Thank my colleagues for their leadership. Thank staff. Thank everybody. I think this was a great meeting and this is what leadership is. Staff reports. We did first responders already. You got anything for us, Mr. City Attorney?
I do not, Mayor. Thank you for the opportunity.
Anything from the clerk's office?
No, Mayor, thank you.
Anything from the city manager's office?
Just thank the council for your support and the staff.
On that,
Thank 4th of
let's
July.
open up for public comment one last time. Madam Clerk, do we have any public comment cards?
We do not have any public comment cards, but you have audience.
I see Dr. Kaplan with her hand up. Please come up and state your name and address for the record. What a great meeting.
Anita Kaplan, 5459 Santa Rosa Lane, Westlake Park, where are we?
Florida.
Westlake.
33470.
I almost said Palm Beach, where I used to live. I just wanted to congratulate the new members to the committee. We're really excited about that. And I think we have some great people coming in. But there's a couple of things that I wanted to talk about because I didn't want you to forget about us. I'm still a little confused, and this is to go back between the Tunnel of Power and the city of Westlake and who's responsible for what. And whether or not this is going to really cost the city some kind of money. And or I would like to advocate for the Education Advisory Board because we really look forward to that. That was a lot of money for the schools. We gave 2,000 to the Golden Grove Elementary School. And they were so grateful that they were always responsive whenever I needed to go to them. So I'm hoping there is a way to make a little bit of money that we can have for the council. That's really all I wanted to say. I'm a skeptical optimist about things, so I think everything will go fine. But I really want to, we did a mini kind of a plan for the Educational Advisory Board and funding came up. And when we got the $2,000, it was nice to see that, we could do something like for the kids when they went out to play. They had new items. When you looked at the box of things that she had to give to them, it was pretty pathetic. So sometimes it's not a lot of money, it's a lot of little money that can make.
Fair enough. Yeah, both causes are going to be extremely valiant causes, and we can't forget about our education.
Right. Thank you.
Fair. Thank you. Any other comments? You got to. Got to come up and state your name and address for the record one more time.
I just wanted to make sure when you guys are planning all this with the 9/11 is that there is a county thing on the same day. It's the 5K and the stair climb. And I know that Hugh is promoting it really big. I just didn't want that to affect you guys with your 5K.
I mean, I think it would.
this race is sanctioned by Dalton Towers through.
Right. Yeah, we might lose participation.
Well, I know my daughter is a racer. I think we might lose some.
Yeah.
Go to Hugh.
Yeah, if a Westlake business is promoting the other event, we're competing with another event.
The race came from that end, so I just agreed with it. She moved.
So we can potentially adjust the date.
Well, we need to do that now. I mean, if that's what you all want to do, because the staff is.
I mean, why did we choose that date?
Well, I think the reason why staff chose the date was because we've been talking with Mr. Farber and others about it being September 12th, because I think traditionally it's been in March, I
What
believe.
day of the week is that?
This Saturday.
Oh, so-
Races around the third week, I think in September is when a lot of them were done. I was just brought forth with that date. It's not anything that I picked. I went with what was given to me.
I mean, if we can avoid it, I don't want to compete against another event that a very prominent Westlake business is.
Can we,
Fire station, I think they're walking that fire tower.
Okay.
so for the tunnel of towers, can we give direction to make it the same day that everyone else does it in the country? Because if it's normally the third week in September, maybe we can give some direction to do it on the same day, because then that will help promote it.
I think it's the third week in New York City when they do it. I think it is done at various dates. We can
Okay.
look into that.
I just think it might be easier to promote, if we do it the same day as another large tower of tunnel event somewhere else, that would help us promote it down here for the local people to come to this one.
I know it's the city manager's wish that we lock in the date, right?
Yeah, yeah.
He wants it locked in, but is there a way you can look that up very quickly to see what date that is?
Sunday, September 27th.
The 27th?
Labor Day or something. I know, Labor Day is the
Were
first
you gonna,
Monday of the.
were you gonna run it? Oh, okay.
My schedule's
I'm
clear.
not
I
running.
don't have kids.
I see like the ones here in Florida. South Florida, Fort Lauderdale does it on September 9th. Vero Beach does it on September 5th. Fort Myers does it on September 12th. So those are the dates that they're currently looking.
All Saturdays though, right?
Well,
5th,
5th and 9th would definitely be different days of the week.
5th is a Saturday. 9th's a Wednesday. 12th.
So once again, I don't want to say, but this is not just.
Yeah, listen, this is your baby. It's up to you.
That somebody's doing. I don't know if they're doing, they cannot use the tunnel to tower.
No, but we're just
No, we
talking
want
about.
to increase participation.
Yeah. So we don't want someone that would normally come to our 5K, decide they're gonna go do the stairs.
And
You
we have a
understand what I'm saying?
ton
Then
of
we lose that.
firefighters in Westlake.
That person. So that's more of the concern.
She would have definitely done.
We move into the following Saturday.
Or the Saturday previously, yeah. I mean, that's what we're talking
Well,
about.
let's move it ahead if we're gonna move it, so it gives us more time to plan.
Well,
Oh, yeah.
I have my kids on
The third, I'm with this.
of course. Either way, 19th or 26th? I'll
Vice
make
Mayor,
it.
you said you're gone the 26th?
It's that weekend.
Okay,
So how
so
about the
19th,
19th is fine.
19th?
19th? I'll get a babysitter.
I wanna make sure that me and the Vice Mayor are.
We'll bring them with you.
Not a runner.
We're gonna be hand in hand. We're all gonna walk then. We're gonna do it all together.
Oh, boy.
So the 19th is, we landed on the 19th.
I think
We're gonna get Councilman Werner out there. walking with us.
I'll get out there and walk.
19th?
19th.
19th. Okay,
19th.
very good. Thank you for that.
That's good.
Insight.
I mean, that's.
Ms. Torres, please. No,
Appreciate that.
great insight. Thank you. 19th.
Hi, Alicia Torres, 5847 Whippoorwill Circle. I have two concerns about the events, but separately. The citywide events, and then also this 5K. I do worry about this new 5K, the way it's architected, the way it's constructed, I guess. It feels very convoluted. It felt more organic when the council member it was his baby. We spent money and personnel resources, a lot of money and personal resources. $22,000 is not anything to sneeze at. And then we actually made a little bit of money, and that money stayed within the community. I don't understand where the money is going in this case. And it sounds to me almost like, and maybe this is how cities do 5Ks, but it sounds like the city is paying for Bobby's fundraiser. And I just wonder if it's going to his QR code or whatever, where does Westlake get acknowledgement for supporting a wonderful, good intentioned, heartful event, but it's still a lot of work. It's still city resources. So I just want to remind everyone not to get lost in the good intentions of it all. And I hope that the attorney and the accountants are kind of following the money and the law to the T, Also, I understand where Councilmember Leonard is coming from, and in that she just wants to serve the community and have specific goals in mind, and to make sure that we aren't just throwing these events for the sake of throwing these events. And I think now that we have Isla, maybe there could be some kind of like resident run events, something where, or maybe Isla needs to, I'm not sure whose job this is, but just, making sure Westlake, is showing up properly, the word, that we are pulling Westlake residents, that the money that we're spending is going, making visibility for our community in a positive way, in a bigger picture, all those nuanced things. Again, that we're not just throwing a party, just throw a party, but, a responsible event throwing is all. So, because it's fun, and it's good feelings and good vibes and all that, but it's our money, it's our taxpayer money at the end of the day. And again, a lot of, the city's, personnel resources and whatnot. But anyway, I'm freezing, sorry.
Thank you for your comment. Do we have any other public comments before I adjourn? Seeing none, I will adjourn at 8:55 PM.